G'day guys and welcome back to Footy from the Flat on the True Footy YouTube channel. I am joined once again by the man that makes this all possible, Dylan Alexander. Hello Dylan.
How we going, boys?
Doing very well.
Pretty excited to be here tonight, actually, on your show, Druzy. The first time you're hosting. How do you feel?
Oh, is that how it's going? Is it? Am I the main man tonight?
You are.
All right, sweet. Let's roll with it. I'm happy to be joined also by the one and only Footy with Alex. Welcome to the stream, Alex.
Thank you for having me. Very keen. Very keen.
It's good to have you on. Emerging creator in the space, long time on the Instagram game. Little bit of YouTube, but for those that don't know you at home, give us a rundown. What do you do? Who are you? Where do you come from? And what is your favourite type of chocolate?
Favorite type of chocolate? Oh, right. Well, I should just start. My name's Alex, and I've been doing footy stuff on Instagram, just graphics and all that for about 5 years now. And then recently, I was always known as AFL Premiership, and then recently rebranded to Footy with Alex. So, they've just been doing that. And what were the other questions?
Favorite type of chocolate?
Favorite type of chocolate? Just the normal dairy milk, just the plain one.
Plain Jane.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
What's your favourite type of chocolate?
That's a good. I like the Whitakers. You know, the one with the nuts. So it's basically like a hazelnut.
Right.
So milk chocolate with hazelnut.
Ferrero Rocher, you a fan of?
Yeah. I like anything with a bit of nuttiness in it. While we've kind of got Alex on the spot here, I think one of the big things that people would be keen to tap into here is that creators list.
Why wasn't I on it, bro? What's going on here? This is why we really brought you here. We brought you into this dark room to talk about the creators list. No True Footy, no Druzy, no Dylan Alexander. What have you got to say for yourself?
Mate, all I got to say is that it was just meant to be a lighthearted thing, and there were hundreds of people who could have easily made it. Like, just even on Instagram alone, there were a good 30, 40 people that could have easily,
What was the methodology?
What was the criteria?
Honestly, just I wanted to get someone from TikTok, so I had Footy MP4 on there from TikTok.
Yeah.
And then, I wanted a couple from YouTube, a couple from Instagram, and then, just a couple from everywhere, I guess. So
fair.
I kind of, mixed in a bit of everywhere.
So you didn't want to discriminate against platforms?
Well, yeah, essentially, yeah. Like, I mean, even if, someone didn't have as many, people following them or whatever, I kind of just, wanted to include everyone in it, or people from all different platforms. So
was there anyone that you thought afterwards and you got comments about that you went, oh fuck?
And why is it Druzy?
Look, I mean, honestly, it wasn't meant to get the amount of views it got. I think it got like 200,000 views.
It went mental.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Like, everybody was commenting on it. Like, the biggest creators were actually getting around it.
Yeah, Dan Gorringe followed me off of it, so that was pretty
sick,
nice. So,
sick.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool.
Without naming, or you can name names, but without getting too into it, who do you think was the most cut to not be on the list? And why is it Druzy?
Again.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I mean, actually, probably.
You don't have to. If you don't want to put yourself in the firing line, you don't have to. I won't.
Did you get messages?
I mean, yes, but it wasn't really messages, saying anything bad. Like, I can go through it and I can see who messaged me at the time. We can come back to it.
We can come back to that.
I reckon you redo it at the end of the year and come up with your top 20 favourites.
Yeah, that's the thing. I should have listed it as top 20 favourites more than top 20 best.
So you did it you did it pretty lighthearted, just like, I'll just put this thing together, the people that I can think of. And then it went massive, and you kind of then you're thinking shit.
Yeah, well, it's like, obviously if I have Caden McDonald at 3 and I got the Shepmates at 4, it's not, that Kados is actually better. It was kind of just, meant to be listing the top 20 and then,
in some sort of order of popularity. There was a Mitch Cleary on there, I want to say.
He's the Twitter goat. That's why he's on there. So it wasn't only, it was a weird list, but Mitch Cleary was there because, he's on social media and he's the biggest one on Twitter and he's got 60 or 70,000 on there. And without him, I wouldn't get 80% of the news that I consume probably. So yeah, that was the reason for that.
You've explained that well.
Fair play. Yeah. We've got a big double header tonight due to the fixture changes that occurred after opening round. The Cats and Lions were meant to play in opening round at the Gabba, and then the Cyclone decided to change the AFL's plans. But that was probably the best game I went to last year, the prelim between Brisbane and Geelong.
That game was such a good game of footy that I still remember exactly where I was and the feeling that I had watching it.
Discuss.
Well,
Elaborate.
it's not a great story. I was just like, I don't know. I had something big on that day. I remember I was really tired. We went to the pub in Northcote. What's that pub called, Vicar?
Northcote. The Peacock?
Yes, the Peacock.
I know
We're in
my
the
pubs.
outdoor area there. And it was just like, it was such a nice vibe. And it had like fans from Brisbane, fans from the Cats, neutral fans as well. And everyone was just kind of getting around it. And yeah, just like the atmosphere in that game was immense. So loved it. Yeah,
that was a great game. But we are focusing our attention primarily tonight on the GWS versus Hawthorn game down in Tasmania. We've got 4 of the best teams in the comp playing at the same time tonight. I would say that these are like the top 4 teams in the comp.
I think based on performances that we've seen, like not necessarily the wins and losses. I mean, okay, we'll mark off that Geelong performance against St Kilda as being a bit of a mulligan.
Yeah.
But other than that, these are the 4 best. They're playing the best kind of football. Would you agree with that, Alex?
I mean, I would put Gold Coast up there just based off how they played before.
That's fair. The only thing that I would mark against Gold Coast right now, and we are going to talk about Gold Coast in this episode because they've been outstanding, and I actually really rate their list as well. But they've played West Coast, who I'm not thinking are doing much this season, and they've played Melbourne, who are absolutely stinking the joint out at the moment, Druzy.
I just think the competition's so tight this year. Like you're saying, West Coast are a bunch of stinkers, but they took it to the Lions last week at the Gabba, like dominated them out of centre bounce, which has been pretty much unheard of for the Lions for the past however long they've been good. So, I'm a big fan of Gold Coast. You were at the MCG today, Alex. Talk to us about what you liked from the Suns.
Oh, I think just from the midfield, like Matt Rowell and Tuke Miller especially, and Noah Anderson, just all of them, like they just made the Demons midfield look really, really slow, made them look really average, like Clayton Oliver, Jack Viney, Petrarca, they all just looked slow.
Yeah.
I mean, Petrarca played majority forward, but, when he was in there, they just couldn't really do anything, it felt like, Obviously, hard when I'm sitting level 1, it's hard to really, analyse the game, but that's just kind of...
Well, you get a feeling for it, for sure. Like watching... I didn't watch that game today because I was out doing other stuff, but the game... Obviously, I watched closely the North Melbourne game last week, and we just bullied them. Like that was just... That last quarter was men against boys type stuff. Like that was a procession. We walked over them. Players like Tommy Powell, LDU were just pushing Clayton Oliver aside, Jack Viney. They just turned into little pressure guys chasing after us basically from stoppage. And I didn't watch the game today, but I can imagine the Gold Coast guys like Rowell's a terrier.
Yeah.
Anderson's so smooth. Like they would have just killed them.
The worrying thing about the last couple of weeks at Melbourne has been that it's that past crop of stars that took them to that premiership glory that are the ones that are struggling. So like, Max Gawn, he always battles and he does good things pretty much every game, but I feel like he's getting beaten more than he used to. Like that GWS game, it was his man, Lockie Keefe, that kicked the winning goal. Cherry, who we'll talk about later in the show, did a number on him. And Jared Witts took him to the goal square and outmarked him for a crucial goal in today's game as well. Jack Viney's in terrible form at the moment, can't get anywhere near it.
Yeah.
Petrarca looks a little bit withdrawn. And I don't know, I feel like Clary and Viney there still sort of playing that old Melbourne game plan, which worked for them for a long time. So it's like get the ball, sort of kick it long to a contest, but they don't want to do that anymore.
Exactly. I did a video for the North game after it, and I was kind of talking about that, how you've got these young, new players that they seem to be trying to like run and gun a little bit more of half back, like your Trent Rivers.
Yeah.
Salem's probably a part of that style. He's one of the older guys, but then you've still got your Olivers and your Petrarcas, and the first thing that they always want to do is just kick long, kick direct. And Melbourne have always played this game where they kick it really wide to the pockets.
Yeah.
And it's so that they don't get hurt coming the other way. And then they get like those repeat stoppages, lock it inside 450. But if you're trying to do those two things at once, like it doesn't really work kind of overall on the scoreboard. And I think they're just kind of caught in two minds. The list is a mixture of like young guys that are look really promising coming through, but they're not getting necessarily the roles that they would have got in other seasons. Like you look at someone like a Trent Rivers who played predominantly midfield the back end of last year.
Yeah.
He's now gone back to that half back role. So it seems like he's been kind of demoted in that sense. And I don't know, like the game plan doesn't look good.
Well, they're still trying to figure out the game plan. It will take time. Like they're not going to win the flag this year. I hate that Trent Rivers has gone back into defence, but they don't have those defensive stocks to be able to push Rivers up into the midfield and then have that running defender. Like
I know they haven't necessarily been like talking about winning the flag, but there was talk of them they were expected to do a lot better than this.
Well,
like
last year they were still in that window. They were still going into the season thinking
they finished bottom 5.
Yeah, I know, but that was the hope.
Yeah, but you can't keep finishing. You can't keep talking about the 2021 premiership and this crop of players that's generational when you're finishing bottom 5 and getting beaten by the Gold Coast and the Kangaroos by 10 goals.
They're having to transition their game style. They won the flag off the back of contest and defense, and now like speed of ball movement is one of the most important stats in footy. So that it's going to take time to change. I think also they're missing Cozzy Pickett, they're missing Judd McVie, they're missing Caleb Windsor. So they are missing key players, and like it's hard to play.
That's not fixing 10 goals though against the Kangaroos.
It does help you execute a new game style though.
For sure.
I don't know. As David King says, you're never as bad as you think you are, and you're never as good as you think you are. What did you think of the D's today at the game, Alex? What did you see?
Gee, like what you were saying, they don't have much marking representation at all down the line
the
when
forwards.
they do that. Yeah.
You know what's really funny about that? Sorry to cut you off here, but I went to that preseason game and they made our back line look like players like Fritsch and who are the forwards up there? I've gone blank. Jefferson Van Rooyen.
Yeah.
They made our back line look terrible that day, and they've done absolutely nothing. Like no representation in the air. They can't even get the ball to ground at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the main thing. Like, especially even in the last couple of years, that's the thing that's killed them. Like in that 2023 Collingwood final, they could have easily won. They had like triple the inside 50s. They had all the possession. They just kept bombing it down the line, and then now like still trying to play that exact same way, just bombing the ball every chance they get. It's just not going to translate to wins, and it clearly didn't last year, even without the personnel. So
with those players, like you talk on Petrarch, you said before, and when you were talking about the Gold Coast game, you said those players like they looked a bit old, they looked a bit slow. Do you reckon we're going to be having a conversation about this moment in a couple of years where it's like, gee, when they could have got rid of Oliver and Petrarca and they had capital sitting on their head, they should have done it?
Well, I think they still can if they want to. And when I was watching the D's today, I was like, gee, Harvey Langford looks good, gets a full game in the middle of the ground, and he was their best midfielder.
Lindsay.
Lindsay did his knee today.
He did his knee?
Yeah.
I knew he got hurt. I didn't know he did his knee.
Yeah. Was it ACL? Have you heard?
Nah, I don't know what it was. I think they're saying PCL, but it was knee-on-knee clash, I'm pretty sure. So.
Fingers crossed.
Because his back end of last year was a knee.
Yeah.
It was either a PCL or an MCL. I can't remember.
Yeah, but that's a concern. But yeah, what I saw that I really liked today from the D's was Harvey Langford, Cade Chandler. Who are the other names that? Like Henderson, Johnson, who they've picked up from the VFL. It's like almost these new guys that have come in and they're listening to what Simon Goodwin's saying for the first time, how they want to play this new game. Those are the ones that I saw a lot of positives in when I was watching the D's today, because they did have, like, they were pretty uncohesive today, but there were signs that they do have some good young players there.
And then, on top of that, like what you said before, Windsor looks like... Before that injury, he looked like he was going to that, getting close to A grade level player. Yeah,
so like if they can get all these guys in the side and try to implement this new game plan, they'll be all right. But they're still so far from it, and I think maybe losing a Petrarca might not be the worst thing for them. Like you still got that value.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting one. It never sounds like a good thing to lose one of your best players, but I think if you are in that rebuilding phase, one thing Melbourne have been, I reckon, really lucky with is the fact that they have. During this period, since 2021, like they had a couple of pings at the finals straight after, but they've sort of bottomed out in this last couple of years, like finishing fifth bottom last year.
Yeah.
And then like this year looks like a pretty poor finish. I know we're really early into the season, but they're picking up draft picks along the way. Like getting the two guys inside the top 10 last year in a really, really strong draft means that they're still in a pretty good position overall.
What would you do, Alex? Would you go see a Petrarca, see a Oliver, see a Viney? We've got some new young kids on the block, or do you reckon in a few years' time, a bit more development into these young guns that Petrarca can play like a Dangerfield type role when he's a little bit older? What do you think?
Oh man, I think Petrarca's definitely not past it. I mean, I don't think Oliver's past it either. It's just who would be that next midfield crop and would they be ready now or would they be ready next year? Like outside of Rivers and Windsor, maybe, like who's really going to be ready this year to or next year to take over in that midfield brigade, I
reckon the one that they really missed the chance on moving on was Viney. Because North actually came pretty hard for him as far as a monetary... I don't know what they would have got for him in return, but like North, obviously, the amount of draft picks that they've got, when North come to the table, you're always going to get a little bit more than what you probably should have for a player. You look at Caleb Daniel, those types of guys. So like, they could have moved someone on. They could have just started to shuffle the decks a little bit for me.
I feel like the AFL isn't like as cutthroat as it should be sometimes.
Yeah.
Like in the NBA, I know, like we're different sport here, but like the Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis trade was like the most cutthroat trade ever.
Yeah.
Like trading one of the best players of this era in Luka Doncic. It was just crazy. And like the D's have too much pride to be able to trade a Jack Viney because like, you know, he's their captain. He's dragged them through the mud to get that premiership. And it's like almost like out of pity. We'll keep him.
For sure. And I wonder that with those kind of clubs too that haven't, like Melbourne's a club that hasn't had success in at least the recent times. Like they're a pretty successful club going back. But those clubs, when they do break through, like I look at the Western Bulldogs as well, who can be a little bit like that at times as well, where like they give too much, I guess, they put too much capital in the fact that they've won that flag and those guys get protected then.
Who are those guys that got protected post Doggies flag?
Oh, they probably haven't been as bad. I guess they have moved players on like McRae, but you've still got...
Well, it's taken them until now, really, hasn't it? Like to get rid of McRae and Daniel and those types.
Yeah, I guess like they've done pretty well that they've been able to bounce back up to the Dogs. Like you think about... I feel like sometimes their performances and the amount of finals that they've got to and stuff has been a bit underrated because they get knocked for not ever finishing top 4. But the fact that they went premiership in 16 and then were able to go again in 21 and make that grand final. Like, you think about that game, they were the better team for probably 2.5 quarters.
Yeah, not the premiership quarter though.
The premiership quarter. It was it was back end of the third. They were the better team in the first half of the third. Back end of the third, last quarter, Melbourne
really
obviously.
Breaking down the minutes here of the 21 grand final.
That was an intriguing game though.
But no, you're right. They do deserve a little bit more credit for their ability to stay up and contend for so long.
Particularly Bevo, I think, deserves a bit more credit in that he gets whacked a lot by, particularly, you know, in the fantasy sports realm.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, I don't know about giving Bevo respect. I mean, more respect. I don't know about that. I mean, look at all the players that they've let go and immediately turned back into prime players.
All right, throw some names at me. I'm going to rebut here.
Say it right into the microphone.
Sorry. Josh Dunkley is the first one. What would you say?
Well, I don't think they would have ideally let go of him though, right?
I guess not, but then you look
he's left. Like that's and that's a club culture thing. So I'll give you that one.
You look at Jack McRae this year. They weren't playing him at all.
McRae.
They weren't playing him at all. Like really.
Why wouldn't have played? Like why? What does he do?
He's
Get him deal.
Clearances.
Get him deal.
He just gets clearances and just kicks the ball forward.
I guess, but he's efficient with it. Like he's not missing targets. What was he in score involvement state? Probably number 1.
He's
for St Kilda or number 2.
He's good over like a 20 to 25 metre pass. Like he's a good little short kick on his preferred foot. But yeah, I don't think he's got like that sort of like maximum penetration. But okay.
So you're telling me how many clearances would the Saints have got in say their game against Adelaide? Who was getting clearances when they're getting absolutely destroyed in the first
Let's
game?
change this question because frame it for the Bulldogs. How many clearances has the Bulldogs lost by losing McRae?
I couldn't tell you how much. That is actually
You're in the furnace now, brother.
That is a good point.
Also, would you hold McRae to play him? He's a centre bounce midfielder. That's pretty much the only position that he can play. Like he doesn't play outside of that very well. He's one of those guys that's like, he's not very flexible. Would you hold him in the team to get games into him at 29, 30, whatever he is, over Ed Richards, over Joel Frazier, who can come in and play those midfield minutes and are a lot more, from a strike rate point of view, from a direct point of view, like a lot more progressive?
Well, what I would have been doing, I mean, is because those midfielders are great, but I would say that having a McRae on your side is better than having the 23rd best player. And if that's a forward, then why isn't Bontempelli playing half the game forward, kicking 3 goals for him? Like, why isn't that happening? Why is Bont playing 80% game time, in the midfield? Like, I think that there could have been ways around it. Like, Joel Frazier's still 19. I mean, I think Ed Richards definitely should be the half back. Sorry, definitely be a midfielder. Sorry, not half back. Yeah.
Yeah, got you.
But I think they could have worked it out to keep McRae in the side because I think he's definitely good enough to.
I will have to agree to disagree on that one.
I'm not hard. Like, who would you like? Who was their sub? Who was the Dogs sub last game? Like, who would that have been? Yeah, I would say definitely having McRae.
My debate there would be though that those players, like you look at some of those names, obviously they're bottom kind of, people talk about bottom 6 players, but some of those guys are like kind of specialist position, right? So like you probably look at players like Vandermeer and you're like, he's really fringe to be like an AFL player, but can McRae play his position and do it better than he can? I'd probably argue no. It's hard to actually prove that or disprove it, obviously, because you're looking at stats and but he's kind of that, that specialist pressure guy. I'm not sure if McRae can do has that same output, I suppose.
Yeah.
Credit to the doggies though. Like I didn't give him any hope this year to do anything.
2 from 3. So who have they beat? They beat North in round 1.
Yeah.
They lost to the Pies in that really controversial. I feel like controversy is following them a little bit too, isn't it, with the umpiring stuff?
That was the worst officiated game I've ever seen.
See, I watched that game.
Sorry,
What?
you go.
I was going to say I watched the game and I didn't I didn't particularly notice. I noticed a couple of big howlers, but I don't care that the free kick count. I reckon that's a bad argument. Just the free kick count.
No, I feel like there was moments like a Dogs player would go up for a mark, get his arms chopped, and it's like sort of borderline, and you're like, oh, that's fine. And then the same thing would happen to a Collingwood player, and they'd be on it straight away. It's like there was just no consistency between teams. It's like, I don't mind letting the play go on sometimes, but at least be consistent.
What were you going to say, Alex?
Well, I was going to say that, I didn't notice it either, like that the free kick count was that big, but I just thought, because I saw like a video on TikTok or something where it just showed every single one of the free kicks, and I was like, 25, 26 of those are there. That's just the Dogs being sloppy, is what I was thinking. Like that wasn't really like a Collingwood game, and I don't like Collingwood.
100%, and I think that that played into it, right? The fact that every fan in the competition, like all 17 fans against Collingwood, are like, I want the Dogs to win this game. It's a close game. The ones that were that stood out to me as absolute howlers, I think the Bailey Dale, deliberate out of bounds.
I can't remember that.
He's in the back flank and he's sort of he's like the ball kind of comes in deep at him and he goes to sort of half volley it with his hands and it kind of just comes off his forearm.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, bounce off his arm. Yeah.
It's like, there really wasn't much that he could have done unless he perfectly controlled the half volley and then picked it up and handballed it. And then you've obviously got the Dacos one that happened straight after it. But I reckon that one's borderline. The Dacos where he kind of...
That's just Nick Dacos' favoritism there, I reckon.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, because it's like it was deliberate. He knew what he was doing. He knew exactly what
he was doing. And
the umpire knew what he was doing, but the umpire saw it was number 35 for Collingwood and didn't want to pay it.
Yeah. I reckon that...
They want to be mates with the best players.
It's that rule is such a up to interpretation. We've had this conversation before, Druzy, on this show, talking about... I reckon they should be more cutthroat with that rule in general.
Yeah.
It's not deliberate out of bounds. People call it deliberate out of bounds. It's insufficient intent to keep the ball in play. So it's anytime a player is trying to get the ball over the line. Is Levi Ashcroft actually playing and not the sub?
Yeah.
Looks like it. Are we flipping it over to the Hawks GWS game?
Yeah, of course we are.
Yeah, sweet. Because there's been all build up about Geelong and Brisbane and I'm kind of getting excited about it now.
I got told that Ashcroft was a sub. Sorry, I've got to change my
McInerney was a late out.
Yeah, Bruce Revel's the sub.
Again. I've got to get Ashcroft on the field here. This has to happen. Just bear with me, Druzy.
Chuck us the remote there, Alex. We'll get the Hawks GWS game on. Who are you tipping? Oh, yeah. So producer Vicar has just brought up a good point. A lot of people are saying, where is True Footy? Where is Jesse? Gridio says, everyone always asks, where is Jesse? But no one asks, how is Jesse? Jesse's doing good. He is tying up some knots over in Perth. Not literally. But he will be in Melbourne on the streams.
Jesse's good though, right?
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
He's moved back. He's been living internationally, living overseas in England. He's come back to Perth, having a little bit of time there, getting his feet back on the ground in Australia.
Yeah.
And he's keen to get back into the content game as far as we know. So yeah, he's good.
And if he's not trying to get back into the content game, we're getting him into the content game because we have been spitting out content on True Footy like it's nobody's business. So you're welcome. Who are you tipping going into this game, boys?
I'm tipping in a bit of an upset based on the odds because I think they're paying $2.30-ish, but I'm going the Giants here in a 5-goal win.
Same here.
I was going the Giants as well.
Oh, well, really? That's boring. I'll just say Hawthorn then, just for the entertainment factor.
So why are you guys?
I tip GWS.
Why are you tipping the Giants, Alex?
Oh well, I think they haven't put a foot wrong yet. Sort of have against Melbourne in the first game, but they get Briggs back, who's a big in. They get
that
Hogan.
Was their second game, yeah.
Yeah, they get Hogan in, and they get Stringer in. It's a lot of big ins, and they haven't lost a game yet.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Druzy. I was going to ask you why you're tipping the Giants, but the the matchups are really intriguing. We're actually about to get underway here. This always happens where we kind of
Giants by 5 points.
Cool, Druzy. So we've got the first centre bounce here. Meek versus Briggs. Briggs is back in the team too. So they've been without him. Tom Green's fit.
You talk about those key ins like, Stringer in, Hogan in. Like, why would they not win, even though I've tipped GWS? But, like, would that not take a little bit of time to figure out how that mix works?
Well, it's potential. That's what a pre-season's for though, right, Alex?
Oh, I would say so. I mean, and Jesse Hogan's not going to take any time getting, he's probably going to take this mark right here. Oh, no. But that would have been nice though. I don't think it'll take any time to adjust. I mean, Jake Stringer's, playing a high half forward role that, a lot of players play.
Our first buzzword of the night, high half forward.
High half forward.
That's a buzzword.
That is a buzzword. It's very sexy. Giants already, though, like Finn Callahan there, tears out of the midfield. Who's going to be playing on him?
Is Nash playing? Could he just run with him?
I reckon he could.
Yeah.
But he could be going with Green. Depends if they want to stop the run or they want to stop the extraction.
What midfield would you prefer, Hawthorn or GWS?
GWS, easily. Wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
Really? Well, I mean, I would say so.
Yeah,
Tom Green, Callahan, and Toby Bedford is the tagger. Brent Daniels going in there.
Yeah. If you throw Daniels in, I guess you could do that with like a Dylan Moore for Hawks too, like the high half forward that comes into the midfield. I think we'll potentially...
Toby Green played the last game.
Toby Green can run through there as well. You've got a lot... I guess like GWS have got a lot of veterans that are sort of like coming out of that are playing those more like auxiliary roles, right? Like Kelly and Cornelio and those kind of players. I reckon like potentially the one that like Will Day is kind of the wild card there, right?
Yeah.
But I'd probably take the Giants as well, like Green, and I love Callahan. I absolutely love him.
And Kelly. I didn't even mention Josh Kelly.
Josh Kelly, yeah.
He is a hot player.
He's probably playing more wing these days though, right, Kelly?
Yeah.
Would you prefer the Hawks in any line? Or would you just go
defense.
Giants?
Oh, yeah.
No,
defense.
I wouldn't. No, not defense. But then they're different. That's why these two teams are so interesting, because they have different...
Will Day.
Here is the wild card.
How's it going to bounce? Stays in. Wizard. Behind.
I'd say the Giants have a more like traditional back six, right? Like Taylor, Buckley, Himmelberg as the tools. And then you've got like
Whitfield.
Iden sort of takes like a smaller player. Who's the other? Ash. Yeah, Ash as a runner and Whitfield as a runner. Whereas Hawks have got this more like oversized. Darcy Jones. I love Darcy Jones.
That ball just bounced so
Green,
funnily.
He can kick this, and he has.
He will.
Oh my God.
That's
Toby Green. And this was a question that I had in my notes to ask you guys off the top. Who gets that matchup? Because I don't think they have a player particularly well suited to play on him.
Yeah, that's a tough one. What is the best sort of fantasy matchup for Toby Green? Like, if you could choose one defender in the comp to go to Toby Green, who would it be?
It's got to be someone that has both ground level and aerial. That's like the first check box. So you can't just play a small lockdown on him.
Would it not just be Sicily? Like, I mean, Sicily's the, third tall in there now
Yeah.
or something?
I feel like
Weddle?
You could play a Weddle.
He's on a lockdown. He's probably
They're very offensive. That's even Sicily to some extent. I know he can play one-on-one.
Well, who goes to him? It's Jath.
Jath's on him. That's not a good matchup for me.
No.
Yeah, I don't even know if CJ is best 23. I don't know.
That's Scrimshaw out, right? That's kind of brought in.
Yeah.
Is Scrimshaw injured?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that head knock, yeah?
I think so, yeah.
Still from that. Hogan. Stringer.
Stringer donning the number 20. Cadman. Apparently it's blowing a gale at Utahs, says Lynn in the chat. Thanks for that information.
I was thinking that, on that green kick, it went the whole way over, like it was nowhere near it, and then went straight through.
I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just like stupid or something. That's probably the answer to my question.
What was the one the other week? The small brain child.
Small brain child, yeah. When I used to watch footy when I was a kid, I don't know why, but I have this like fond memory of like old key forwards would like kick it to like the boundary post and it'd always just swing back. I don't know. Maybe it was windier back in the early 2000s.
The old right to left.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the ball always used to like have a curve on it. But yeah, probably a small brain child. Over to you, Dylan.
That's fascinating, Druzy. We've got a forward half stoppage here for the Giants. Dangerous players here. You're thinking Toby Green, aren't you? You're thinking Brent Daniels. had a snap.
Jaff puts his head over it. Oh, he dug his head into the dirt there,
Yeah.
Bedford. He loves that dump tackle, doesn't he?
Is he tagging Day?
You'd think so.
Yeah, straight to him. Thought so. Oh, he is.
Just trying to ruin things for my fantasy.
That's why I didn't bring him in. Got like 3 tags at the start and then the bye.
Hardwick's taken 2 strong contested marks early.
Hardwick's a nightmare for opposition coaches, I reckon. Like
And a dream for Hawthorn fans, am I right?
Exactly. Oh, is that Dent? No, it's Kelly. Getting those limbs in there. Okay, we asked who's got the better defence. Who's got, on the Hawthorn, because we went through the Giants players. So you're talking Weddle, Scrimshaw, Sicily, Battle, Barras. Very big, right? Very big. And then your runners are probably Amon and Impey for the Hawks. Whose small defenders would you like more? Whitfield, Ash, and Iden, if you want to call him that. Like he's more middle, I guess. Versus Amon, Impey.
Small, you got to go GWS, I reckon, just for Whitfield.
The Witter.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the only glaring, like these are all tough questions to answer, but like GWS definitely have more firepower in that forward line. But other than that, I think it's pretty much evenly matched.
Hawthorn are a little bit young in the forward line, aren't they? For the key position.
And Schmall.
I have absolutely loved Charles' work though this year.
Callahan.
I think he's been that
handball. Handball. That was on his opposite as well.
They have just opened up the field here. This is concerning.
Do you think like professional footballers have like opposite handballs, or do you reckon they're just so like used to it? Because that was like an over the head on his right hand. Like
no, they absolutely do.
I
reckon that's one of the biggest, like developments in footy probably over the last like 5 to 10 years, even maybe more than that. I think, maybe like the Dogs, 2016 were one of the first teams to kind of implement that. Just these unbelievably skilled little handballs when you're getting tackled. I don't remember, like, I remember you see more stoppages.
Stringer, left foot, snap. How's your auntie? Oh, it's a pint.
Get so much penetration on those. Yeah, like you used to see more holding the ball, more tackles, like whether it went to another stoppage or whether it went to a free kick to the opposition. Now you just get these little handballs. Players seem to be able to be predictable to each other, like run past at the right time, get the handball out the back of the head and that kind of thing.
Brisbane was so good at that last year. Like on grand final day, the little like Ashcroft and Neil link ups, or that whole midfield.
It can be the difference between winning and losing. Like
just cleanliness on the inside. Jesse Hogan, who said he's going to take a long time to fire up? What an idiot. Hate to be that guy. Look, I'm just honestly, I don't know if Jesse Hogan, I'm not saying he can't, but I'm interested to see if Jesse Hogan can back up the year that he had last year.
Why do you have doubts?
Because I'm a Freo fan. And I just saw him like do really not a lot at Freo. Obviously he's like turned a corner in his career, but like,
did he ever have a season at Freo like last year though?
No, he did not do anything for Freo.
Is it potential that he just went to a better club?
Oh,
sorry, man, I'm only joking.
You're not, man. No, he's turned a corner and he's kicked the second goal of the game for the Giants. Are you a big Jesse Hogan man? Do you have any stocks in Jesse Hogan?
Well, yeah. I mean, I still think he's going to go back to back in the Coleman.
Who do?
Yeah.
You reckon he's going to win the Coleman?
Oh yeah. I don't see anyone else is going to like come close still. Like
really?
Him. Like I mean, who would? Like a Tracy maybe?
Yeah,
it's a good point
answer.
when you actually put up the other forwards. Like I don't know, maybe a Jeremy Cameron.
I guess, but I mean, I would say it's probably Larky, Tracy, and maybe Ben King. But I still think that it's Jesse Hogan. Like by a fair bit.
The only like rebuttal I'd have to Hogan, and I keep using the word rebuttal tonight for some reason, which I never use. Don't know why I've gone with that. But it would be like the distribution of goal kickers in that forward line. Potentially, like you bring, like Stringer seems to attract goals, right? The goals have to go somewhere. He'll kick goals. Toby Green will kick goals. I think Toby Green had a slightly off year as far as goal output last year. So that could like bump up a little bit more. Does that kind of, obviously the team, when they go inside 50, they target certain players. Will they target him a little bit less? Would be maybe more so than I think his character won't be able to cope with being able to go back to back.
I mean, I guess, but you got Cadman playing a lot more up the ground, and I don't think Callum Brown's in that forward line.
Callum Brown actually got omitted.
So Callahan's running through the middle
Stringer
of the ground
is basically
here.
the third.
3 bounces, loads up. Oh, one-on-one, Toby Green's there.
Oh.
How hot is it just seeing Finn Callaghan run with the football?
It's so majestic.
It's just like watching a Ferrari go along the Amalfi Coast, you know? It's just like, not that I'm a car man.
He's everything you want in a midfielder.
What is everything you want in a midfielder?
Aerial game, explosiveness.
You love those powerful mids. You love the powerful
I
mids.
love them.
LDU, Warner.
Yeah.
Oh, there he
Callaghan.
is with that contested mark.
I love a score involvement mid. I hate a midfielder that slows the game down.
Yeah.
Which is probably like back to that conversation. We won't go into it again, but the McRae conversation. I sort of feel like he's more one of those less direct players.
Yeah.
Pops it up to the top of the goal square. Who's going to be there? Oh my God. Oh, I thought that went all the way through then. Shout out to Gritty-O in the chat, getting busy.
Yeah, what's going on in the chat? We got any questions there?
Cardman said, talk about the Saints for me. We got any buyers in St Kilda stock on this table?
Well, I've been talking about McRae the whole time. So
yeah, I've just been shitting on them basically.
St Kilda. I thought they've got more players back in than I thought they were going to have at this point in the season. Like I thought Mitch Owens would be out for a while and whatnot.
Yeah. Filippo is the big one. Again, right. Powerful mids. He's kind of that guy for them, I feel. I don't know, like the thing was like we can't judge them too much on this season so far. Like I feel like they've gone embarrassment in round 1 to Adelaide. Huge win against the Cats, and then they played Richmond, who we know are going to be super inconsistent this season. So you can't kind of give them, I don't know, I feel like you can't give them too much praise. You can't give them too much hate. I still feel like overall when you watch the Saints, and you'd see it in periods today against the Tigers, like they like over a full season, they're going to struggle, aren't they? Like they're going to knock off some teams that they're not expected to beat, but they're going to drop some games to crap teams. Yeah. Like you could see them losing to a North.
McRae does improve them though.
He probably improves them a little bit now, just because they won't get beaten. They were.
I'd say more than a little bit. I'd say he makes their midfield function. I think that was exactly what they needed. Yeah,
well, he's got tagged today in the first half. Like that's how damaging he's been in the first 2 weeks. He was getting tagged by McIntosh the whole first half. Then they took it off him for Bradley Hill for some reason. But
that's incredible, isn't it?
And then McRae dominated the second half.
Do you reckon though, like that's a little bit of muscle memory? Like McIntosh, you got to tag someone in the midfield because he's kind of getting groomed to do that role this season. McIntosh, he played against Carlton. He was on Cripps, wasn't he? Then he jumped on Port Adelaide. Did he go on Horn Francis or Rosie?
I'm not sure.
Didn't really go on either of them.
I feel like he tagged still in that second game. Anyway, I can't remember that game particularly well, but is it a bit of a like, we've got to put you on someone, and McRae's probably the guy that's getting his hands on the ball at stoppage the most?
Well, I'm looking up because you were saying what clearances and score involvements are the most important things for mids. Yeah, I want to see.
Cook him, Alex. Cook him.
I just want to see because I feel like he's been. Yeah, I got to get it up. I feel like he's been a very good score involvement guy.
I reckon he'll be like okay for score involvements just because of like as far as the like market share of St Kilda's involvements, like a lot's still going to be coming through him because he's got such a primary role in that midfield. The question for me would be like, would you be better him playing that role or someone else?
Well, I mean, McRae is averaging the 10th most score involvements in the league. On average, it's 8.5.
Bumberclart.
Number 1, well, Bailey Smith's played 1 game, but number 1 is Toby Green on 11.5. So,
let's have a look.
Yeah, Toby Green and then McRae is there, and I don't know how many he got this game. It hasn't updated yet.
Well, Ben Long's in that same mix, so maybe.
That's off 1 game though.
Right.
I think that's off of just the 1 Gold Coast game.
That's off the same game.
Yeah. Well, I'll just see how many he got this game. I think I can check.
Yeah, let's have a breakdown game by game.
What did he get today? Because this game hasn't counted yet.
He's played Richmond.
Can I check score involvements on here?
Joel. Oh, need a goal here. Gunston, can you provide?
No.
Oh, he's kicked it out on the full.
I'll find it. I'll see how many he got this game, but I feel like he's been involved in everything.
You're hitting me with stats here.
Yeah, Dylan's not used to this on the show.
Druzy doesn't usually come back at me.
I'm just here for the vibes.
No, it's a good conversation, and I can sometimes be a little bit hard on those guys, but I do think that.
Oh no! What have you done?
What?
Score involvements leader for the Richmond game, Jack McRae, while being tagged, had 12, led the game. And the last
Interesting.
game's averaging 8.5. So
Was against Richmond though, wasn't it? I could get scoring involvements against them. You can only play what's in front of you.
yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, well, we'll see. Who's a good game against Adelaide?
Against Adelaide.
The game where they got thumped was against Adelaide. I want to see where he was compared to the Crows guys against
Oh
the
my
team.
God. What a ball that
Yeah.
is from Toby Green. Darcy Jones, get there. Oh, just in the midst of this, McRae is the best player in the AFL chat.
You wouldn't like here's a bit of a rebuttal on that though. You wouldn't, as a Saints fan, you wouldn't really like to see him being that guy in your team.
Well, for now you would because they don't have that player.
No, they don't. I mean, it's Philippou.
But
Philippou is that player.
like Garcia's not there yet.
No, he's not there yet,
And
for sure.
Wilson's not there.
He's been saying that
Inside
he's been there for the last 3 weeks. Every time
No,
we
I
hop on the
haven't
stream,
been
he's
saying
like,
he's been
Hugo
there. I'm saying that
Garcia
I said he could break out this year.
He said he was going to be top 5 in the Brownlow this year in the first stream we did.
This show is not supposed to be just people shitting on me.
I think they were without Steele today, and I think that McRae.
Oh, Steele didn't play.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
And Sinclair wasn't in that midfield, and it was all McRae. I thought today. So
Yeah, right. I'll probably have to. I mean, I didn't watch the game, so
Yeah.
that's probably a start
well, I've
for,
got
for me.
Adelaide game. I'll see what he was doing in terms of stats because he was.
It was just over here like, I started this company.
So McRae had. Let's just see if anything's happening.
I just wanted to say, by the way, like we were talking before about this game, like this could genuinely be the grand final that we're watching right here, Hawthorn versus GWS, and this first 10 or 12 minutes of play has been hot. Like there's no time on the ball. There's so much skill on display. GWS are putting them to the sword. Well, not putting them to the sword, but they're putting them under the coshier.
Huge
Hogan's
from
got
Darcy
another
Jones.
Medalist. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, Jack McRae, 12 clearances in the game where they lost by 60. The next highest was 7 for the whole game, and that was Rankin, who had a blinder.
So
you're getting
what's
cooked, bro.
What's the clearance to score involvement strike rate there from McRae? So like how many of his clearances turn into scores for like how many he gets? Like what's the cut through?
Well, he had 7 score involvements, which was equal 4th most in a game where they lost by 60 points.
Yeah. But like as far as how many.
Hogan goes bang.
Yes, come on, Jesse.
Why are we talking about St Kilda when the Giants are playing Hawthorn? Yeah,
Cardman asked, bro.
I'm getting dragged into this from Cardman.
What
here.
number was Cardman on the influencers list?
Oh, I reckon he was on the second page.
second
I reckon
page.
Second page.
Yeah, I can
That's
check.
fair.
I reckon a top 15 though.
Was there like a 3rd and 4th page that you're gonna like upload to your OnlyFans or something like that? And was I on it?
Yeah.
Thought so. The Hawks have moved the ball so well in this game, despite the fact that they're getting peppered. You know what I mean? Like GWS are putting it on them, but
Yeah.
Hawks are still moving the ball well.
The Giants, like one thing that I've noticed about them this season is just they're like when they do move the ball off a turnover, they really hurt you. Like that kick there from Darcy Jones when he went inside forward 50. If you compare that to a Carlton watching them try to play and kick the ball inside 50, like he's looking for that short kick, that easy option. He goes,
Callahan.
McRae can't do this. Handball it backwards.
Jeez.
Bedford, I rate Bedford so highly.
Well, the D's could use a Bedford at the moment. That's a snag.
Oh, Toby
Gee,
Bedford.
we all knew, like, we all went for the Giants in this one, but you said 5 goals, didn't you? Or,
I did, yeah.
I said 5 points.
5 points. I didn't say a margin, but geez, they look good.
Yeah.
Far out.
Just efficiency every time they go inside. They're doing this like Hawthorn have. Well, they're undefeated up until this point, but they still haven't reached final form. You know what I mean? Like GWS have sort of come into this year. Maybe
Agree.
not so much against the D's. Melbourne played well that day, though.
I think in Hawthorn's performances too against like Carlton, like they weren't amazing in that game. Like that.
Any of them.
They've had cracks.
Like even Essendon. Like they had less inside 50s, I think, than Essendon in that game.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't been.
It's hard to judge them though because like I think both of those games they controlled the scoreboard pretty well.
Yeah.
So like they were losing a lot of the territory battle, but it's like how much of that is we're just dropping a spare behind the contest. You know what I mean? Conceding the midfield a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, we'll see. This could just be early stages, and I'm assuming Hawthorn's gonna make a comeback.
You think there'll be definitely a period, but that's a big goal for Toby Bedford to run off Will Day like that and kick a goal. Like that hurts.
Right in the
A
spleen.
little bit fumbly here. Dylan Moore hasn't been involved.
Chol, get off me.
Huge
what a
tackle from Briggs.
Dylan said it first.
Sorry, Druzy.
I don't blame you because I was almost going to say Biggs. Big tackle from Biggs. Oh, he's falconed Lockie O'Keefe. Is it Lockie Keefe?
Lockie Keefe.
Not O'Keefe.
He's the one that kicked the match winner, right?
Yeah.
So how's he still in the team?
What do you mean?
Well, no, I guess he's keeping Callum Brown out then.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess this week it's because they've got no second rock, and if anything happens to Briggs or whatever, and in that 20%, they probably need him.
Yeah. So, it's interesting because he was already in the side, right? So out goes Brown, Grishevsky, and Leake. In comes Stringer and Hogan. So really, Hogan's in for Grishevsky, right?
Yep.
As a key, and then Brown's kind of that third, which Jake Stringer is playing at.
Oh, I guess, but I mean, Jake String's a lot smaller than, a lot smaller than Brown though. Isn't Brown like 195, or maybe he's not that big?
I sometimes get these wrong just from looking.
Yeah.
I thought Brown was more like 190. I thought they were similar. Like Stringer would be like 188, something like that.
I mean, I can look it up.
Yeah, have a quick look. But Brown might be a bit bigger. Like he's so athletic, Brown. I reckon that first game against the Pies.
Oh, only 188.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Yeah, so I reckon they're similar size. Like Stringer maybe 190.
Yeah, probably is about that.
But they do play a similar way, like a lot of physicality in their game. He goes Bedford again. Yeah, I think Melbourne made a huge mistake getting rid of Toby Bedford.
Yeah.
Like the agility and like the step that he has to get out of congestion and then be that tagger, be that defensive player.
But at the time, like when you're a premiership contender, like the competition for spots is so immense. Like it's hard to find a spot in that side, and he just never really could lock down a spot, could he? Because he was just playing as a small forward at the D's, wasn't he? Like he wasn't.
Yeah, like he was a combination of like high half forward, sort of pressure forward. So he was like, in a way, he was sort of still being that kind of defensive player. But I feel like the Giants have like completely unlocked him as this like full package of like offensive and defensive. How good is Sam Taylor? Like I know he hasn't really shown much in this game.
From Barras.
You're big on Barras, aren't you, Drews?
He's just an honest, good, contested marking defender. I'm not like massive on him, but like.
Okay. You said he'd be the recruit of the year.
Did I?
Yeah, I believe so.
I thought I said Shea Bolton would be.
No, you did, but you said out of everybody. I think that was before Bolton had played.
Yeah,
and we were talking about
Bolton's done all that much, but he's played one game. But no, I think more the ability of Barras to hold down that lockdown defender spot, which can send Weddle forward or Sicily forward. I don't think Hardwick's played in defence this year. I'm pretty sure he's just been like a full-time forward.
Yeah.
So like that, him and Battle coming in allows them to have that flexibility, which has been a staple of their season so far.
Yeah, he might have played there once just for like a matchup dependent thing, but he's definitely like been more primarily forward.
We had a comment from, I can never say this guy's name, Raid Mazray. Can you help me here, Alex? How do you say that bloke's name? Raid Mazray.
I think
you've nailed that, Drews.
Yeah, I think so.
It's only taken me 4 streams, but he says like Hawthorn seem like smaller than GWS just physically. If you look at all the players out there, do you reckon the Giants players are giant in comparison?
They've definitely got some big guys out there. I look at the Hawthorn defense, and if you add Scrimshaw not there, I'd say their defense is bigger than the Giants' forward line. Other than like obviously Hogan's a giant.
I didn't realise Stringer was 192.
192, that is a little bit bigger than I expected.
Run, Wizard, run. How's the handball? Oh, yeah, we'll get it back here. God, he's running rings around these fools. Gunston. Hawthorn must be kicking against the wind here, hey? It must just be blowing into their face. Yeah, look at Gunston's hair. It's like slicking back.
Yeah, they're not getting any penetration.
Oh, that's a mark, bro.
No, it's a good observation. I haven't sort of... Like, it hasn't jumped off the page at me. I think if you bring in all of those, like... Yeah, that was...
I thought that was
straight
mark.
into it.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, was it a mark or was it a free?
I thought it was a mark.
Nah, he said play on.
Yeah.
And then he gave the free kick for that.
Oh, it ducked straight under him.
Cornerstone tackle. If you look, I guess like Hawthorn having so many small forwards in the team, like Dylan Moore, Nick Watson. I always get to that and then can't remember. Oh, McDonald's out, isn't he?
Ginnivan.
Mackenzie, Ginnivan. So that and then you put that up against the Giants back line, which is like Connor Iden. Ash and Whitfield are there, but there's probably more small forwards for Hawthorn than there are kind of small defenders to play on those guys, which would give them a bit of... Like, I reckon Himmelberg would be playing small, wouldn't he?
Probably.
He's tall, but I reckon he's playing small. Like, he'd be like the hybridy one that could play on a smaller player.
Yeah. Or Iden. I think both of them can.
I mean, Whitfield, I don't know if I've ever seen him defend anything, so he's not doing much defending, but Lockie Ash is like pretty decent as a lockdown player.
They got Stone as well.
Oh, what a hit.
Stone, yeah, sure, yeah.
Bro. Jesse Hogan, what a player he's turned into.
I feel like Xavier O'Halloran's a bit of a journeyman, isn't he?
Tell us about Xavier O'Halloran. What do you know about him?
I don't know if I can. That's sort of why
I had no response. I was just like, go.
Yeah. He's like one of those players, like every team has a player like that. And I think he does his role, right? He's a winger, just plays that sort of disciplined outside game, probably defends really well, follows team orders, defends the corridor, all of those kind of things.
I feel like every time I watch O'Halloran, he kicks like a big 50-metre goal on the run. Gee, that wind is aggressive.
That is.
I feel like every time he kicks like a 50-metre bomb, like I would probably say there's a good chance he gets it this game. Like just a big bomb, with the wind in whatever the third quarter. I could see it.
Do you know much about him as a player other than that?
Well, just that he's an explosive player that can go mid.
Yeah, right. Do you play? I haven't seen him play mid that much.
I think last year he could definitely go in there. Like I've seen him go in centre bounces.
Interesting. I saw him more as a wing, maybe a little bit of halfback, but
halfback. Maybe I could just
more wing.
50.
Ooh,
Ginnivan was too eager to get on the mark there.
I'm just looking up in the corner. The Cats lead by 7 points in the first quarter.
Meow.
I mean, the Lions were down to the Eagles at halftime, weren't they? Or even three-quarter time, were they? Like,
yeah, they've started slow in all their games, haven't they?
Yeah.
The Swans game, they were down.
Yeah, they were down 30 against Sydney. I think they were the first 4 or 5 goals in that one.
Slow starters.
Are we just, with the Lions, are we just sort of trusting that they'll kind of just bank wins, play themselves into form across the season?
They'll get there.
I mean, they still haven't lost. So, gee, that wind.
That'll miss.
Wow.
That's crazy.
In that kind of wind, my kick would actually end up back behind me.
Can you kick a drop punt?
Can I kick a drop punt?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course
All
I can.
right, good to know. Good to know. One-handed ball drop?
One-handed ball drop?
Yeah. Or did you kick it two-handed, or can you I'm just asking. I need to have a kick with you, bro.
This is a weird conversation.
No, because there's playing for the Div 12 Resies, there's lots of creators that play there and they have two-handed ball drops.
Really?
And, some of them don't know how to kick.
Oh, okay. No, I wouldn't call myself a good football, or when I played, I wasn't a good footballer, but no, I can kick the ball.
Okay, good to know.
What division is the Div 12 Resies? What are they actually?
I'm pretty sure it's that for Division 5 and we're the thirds off that. So if you do the maths, it's basically Division 15.
So it's actually worse.
Yeah,
wow.
But it's the lowest just about the lowest standard in Melbourne. Yeah.
That's
fun though.
You should come rank players sometime, Alex. You should do top 10 Div 12 Resies players based on performance.
That would actually be all right. That'd probably do well, to be honest.
Come down and have a watch, mate. First game's next Saturday.
I'm playing myself, mate.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I play Port Melbourne.
Port Melbourne. Who would you compare yourself to as a player? Wait, are we talking VFL, Port Melbourne?
No. For the Colts. No.
Colts, that's a good standard, isn't it?
Yeah.
So is that the same as the VFL team, but in the...
No. Well, I mean, no. It's the Colts. It's I don't think it's the affiliate. We don't play at the same oval.
So
okay.
Not the same club?
I don't think so, no.
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so, what sort of player are you?
Finn Callahan.
Oh, yeah. Chad Warner, Finn Callahan. Yeah.
Jesse Hogan all put into one package.
Exactly. Yeah.
Stringer.
With a bit of Sam Taylor mixed in.
Oh,
Darcy Jones. Oh.
Darcy Jones is a mesmerising player. I think he's fantastic. I want a Darcy Jones at North Melbourne.
Did you?
Everyone needs one.
No, I do want one.
Oh, you do want him?
Yeah.
I thought you like I
Constanti's
saw him first.
Sort of like not the same. I can't compare him, but that's same.
C grade version.
Yeah, but I mean, his pressure, like. Well,
Yeah,
from what
he has brought pressure for sure that we didn't have. I feel like our like the upgrade to our forward line sort of been in. Paul Curtis looks like he's going to another level. I think Zerha's been pretty good at the start of the season too. But yeah, Constantine's definitely like that kind of deeper, bringing pressure guy. I'd still prefer a Darcy Jones. I'd love it.
Could he kick this with the wind?
You'd have to
push.
You'd have to go so far to the right though, wouldn't you? Yes.
Oh, he has. Wait for the wind. Wait for the wind. Ooh.
It's coming back.
There we go. Quarter one done. 35-point margin, keeping the Hawks to a goalless quarter. I don't know if that's been done so far this season. I'm going to say that it hasn't.
I'm going to say that it hasn't as well because I reckon in all their games so far they've started well.
Yeah.
And then kind of played the scoreboard from there.
But the wind advantage is just going to be massive. So.
Yeah, like is that sort of blowing like I guess it's kind of blowing like across the goals, but to the Giants' end.
Yeah. Yeah. Sort of like if right of screen is like east, I reckon it's going like southwest, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you reckon the Hawks are going to come back in this second one?
In the second quarter? Yeah. I think there's going to be a goal scoring end here for sure. Did you notice that there was a goal scoring end last week in Freo versus Sydney in the first half with the Sun? Or am I just like trying to make excuses for my team being terrible?
Well, I mean, you were up for the whole game.
Well, in the first quarter, I felt like, I don't know, like the Sun was just like Alex Pearce missed a chest mark in the first quarter. Like just fully had a fresh airy chest mark.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a win thing. It was a
No,
sun.
it was like just glaring sun, like 35-degree day.
Can we talk about Freo?
Oh yeah, go on.
We talk about them every stream. How have you seen their season so far, Alex, as a neutral in this conversation? Because I feel like I'm always picking on them, and Drewsy's defending them.
I mean,
I don't always defend them, but go on.
I don't feel like I'm too worried about them. Like
Really?
what a lot of teams are 0-2. Like
They're 0-3, aren't they?
No, and 2
0-2.
rough. Come on.
Is that it?
0-2, lost to Sydney by 3 points, and Sydney's they've played 2 top 4 probably teams, and then Fremantle was right there. So
Yeah.
I don't think they're missing Hayden Young, who's
That's a big out.
arguably the most like damaging player.
He's my
like,
sort of midfielder.
Yeah, definitely. Like he's very damaging. So I'm not like too worried about him. I don't think. Like,
Do you think like we posed you any threat when we played you on Sunday, the Swans?
I mean, I don't know.
It was a weird game, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wasn't really like, I never thought we were like out of it at all. I thought we were better than you after quarter time.
Yeah,
for the
100%.
whole game. But I mean, Tracy definitely did. Like he was scary every time the ball went near him.
I think the consistent thing for Freo that would be worrying is the fact that every time you get a chance to put your foot on the throat of an opposition, you don't take it.
Yeah.
So like every time there's a game there, like Sydney they're a good team, obviously. Like they have some stars. They're never going to be like a walkover. But that was one of those cagey games where like Sydney are travelling over to Western Australia. It's difficult for them. It's been a difficult start to the season. That was the time to get them.
Yeah.
And Freo, every time they're kind of presented with that kill, they don't take the kill.
It was such a winnable game for us.
Yeah.
There was a stat on the run sheet about like Freo being the worst red time team. Like the last 10 minutes of games in our last 6 or 8 games, something like that. It's like 77-6.
Yeah.
Or 77
And I don't reckon that's fitness.
Well, I don't know what plays into it. It's just mentality, I suppose. But like, we haven't won a game since July of last year now. And the last time we won was against West Coast, which is, it's worrying.
That's Carlton-ish figures.
Yeah,
areas.
well, we probably play a similar brand to Carlton as well.
Yeah.
Like, when we were good, it was that contest and defense and just like winning the clearance. And now we've lost that. Like, we're in all sorts. But I think, like, we're debuting Isaiah Dudley this week. One of the biggest parts of our performance being so shit against Sydney was like, as soon as it went into our forward 50, if we didn't score, which we didn't really score much all day, it would just ping straight out. And like, it made me realize how important your forwards are in defending the ground. Like,
yes.
Allowing your defense to set up field position and have those repeat efforts on goal and put the opponent on the back foot. Like,
So are you putting that on players like
Bailey Banfield?
Swikowski?
Swikowski didn't play; he's injured. But
Right.
Bailey Banfield and Michael Frederick combined for 0 tackles for the whole game.
Way.
Yeah. Then Bailey Banfield's playing again against West Coast, and I don't see him as a best 20
Because he's not a good player with the ball, and that's probably the area. Obviously,
He's just not an AFL player. To be honest.
Shea Bolton comes into the team, obviously, which helps this. But like none of your small forwards pre Shea Bolton are like ball in hand players. Like even Swikowski, like he's a pressure guy, right? He's not like a high quality small forward.
He's good with the ball in his hands running, not maybe in terms of like skill.
He's not going to pick the eye of a needle,
not with
like
his kicking,
Darcy
no.
Jones just did there a couple of times for the Giants. That's sort of where I'm going with that.
Yeah, that's the worrying thing. And then I just don't feel like we have our best mix in any line at the moment. Like I don't
because
know.
of injury.
Yeah, I just don't know what our best back six mix is, and I think we've got our defense pretty much all healthy, other than Brandon Walker, who's just gone out with injury in that game. Hayden Young, like he'll come back into the side next week, but I don't know whether it's it's obviously Brayshaw, Sarong, and Young, but I feel like the best game we've ever played under Longmuir was against Sydney away last year, and in that game we had Young and Fife who played massive roles. So it's like we need 2 big body mids to.
If you go into that clearance dominance that the Dockers had last year, one of the things that I notice is like first of all you're missing your primary tap ruckman, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to give you that clearance dominance in Darcy? Your 2 biggest hit 2 players, the guys that received it from the ruck's hands, were Hayden Young and Fife. Obviously bigger bodied guys that got reach, right?
Yeah.
So like they're getting the tap down. Neither
Yeah.
of those guys are there, right?
Yeah.
And Fife isn't obviously at the top of his game right now, but he's obviously a big part of that. And then feeding it to guys like, whether it's even just a knock on to someone like a Sarong or a Brayshaw. But I think that's holding you back significantly. We're about to get underway here though in the second quarter, Druzy.
Yeah. I'm not confident going into the derby tomorrow at all. Hey, like people are like, what do you mean? It's West Coast, but it's like, nah, this season's too. Oh, that's a free kick. That's got to be in the back. This season's too tight to just be like, oh yeah, we're gonna walk over West Coast, especially with the performance that they had last week against Brisbane. Like, if they go to Brisbane and hold their own around clearance, and our clearance numbers have been terrible, like I don't have any confidence that we're gonna be able to dominate field position. I think Tracy will just have a big game and hopefully.
My concern with that is that you don't want to be one of those teams that like always has to have your best team in. Like I feel like that's been Carlton for so long as well, where they're always talking about someone's out. It's like we haven't got the perfect mix, and like you're always going to have some injuries. Like obviously Freo are kind of going through it a little bit at the moment with particularly some of their most important players. But yeah, you don't want to. You'd think Longmuir would be able to come up with a system that alleviates that a little bit, so you don't have to be so reliant on those players all the time.
Yeah.
I just think it was. I think it was just one really, really bad game, like
Against the Cats.
Against the Cats. I mean, would you say, like, when you guys were at the top last year, I don't know if it's a correlation or anything, but you guys were really, really slow moving the ball forward. Like it was a lot of Luke Ryan chipping it around.
Luke Ryan.
But it worked. You guys were second. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's boring, but you guys are moving up slowly, and then when you are bombing it in, if you're moving it up slowly, you're really setting up, like with Luke Ryan there. Like
There is a correlation as well, though, between teams that move the ball very methodically and slowly, and it can bank you more home and away wins. And then when the games get really hot, and I feel like Freo's run into the finals last year, it was like finals.
Yeah.
Because all the games, there was a bunch of teams that were like around that final, like playing for final spot. The game turned into more of a chaos game, ground ball, and then Freo got kind of found out again.
Yeah,
True.
That's fair. Yeah, like our style almost doesn't stack up when the whips get cracking.
Yeah.
And Nathan Buckley, I was asking him at the Fox Footy launch, like, what gives you confidence that Longmuir is the man to take us to the promised land? And he basically said, like, there's a lot going right, but if you are to win the premiership, you need an attack that can threaten the best defences in the competition, and that's probably what they're lacking at the moment. So until we can bring that, we're naughty good. But I think, Hayden Young comes back in. Bolton plays more forward time. He's still coming back from injury, Bolton as well. Like, he's not 100%.
He's a massive X Factor player. Like, he'll be massive if he gets fit, gets rolling.
But we need our best 22 back. That's the that's all I can really say at the moment. And hopefully we beat West Coast and turn our season around. But that's enough Freo talk for now.
Can I ask one more question though? Just
Go for it.
Before we end. how many losses in a row would it take?
Longmuir's going nowhere.
Really?
He's not getting sacked this year. No
Really?
way. No way.
Well,
if he lost 22 games in a row, obviously he'd get sacked. But like,
do you think he goes if he misses finals?
no.
Really?
I reckon we write it out. Like, because this list still hasn't reached its like pinnacle. Like, Ward, what can you do? Centering ball. Hardwick.
Oh.
He takes marks. That's what he does.
He's got to pay that, surely.
Yeah, I don't know. It does feel a bit stagnant now, like the whole flag mantle thing and like that flag, like Freo contender, like that feels like it's like we're no longer there. Like we have gone backwards.
It's like the footy purgatory, right? Like every team they go from kind of like bottoming out a bit.
Always hit the post from 10 metres out, straight in front. Ball don't lie.
They needed to kick that just for a little bit of scoreboard pressure, the Hawks. This one's kind of getting away from them a bit. Every team goes through that where they're bottoming out and then they bump a bit and everyone goes, oh, they look really exciting. But then to actually like inflict from there is kind of the next step, right?
Yeah.
And Freo kind of, that's what they're going through at the moment.
It's no fun.
And you're only as good as your worst six. You know, you can have all the superstars or like all the star players, and Fremantle's obviously got a lot of them, but you're only as good as those, you know, pressure guys and role players. And I guess they're the ones that are lacking right now.
I feel that's the key. More so, I feel like the bottom six conversation sometimes gets a bit taken out of context, but it's having the players in those like high half forward positions, in those wing positions that have probably like in different eras been neglected, and the best teams have those players and really good players.
Look at Brisbane and Sydney, like especially Brisbane, like they had 4 goals from Archie, 4 goals from what's his name? Loman in the grand final.
I thought Loman was best on in that game for like winning the game when it was on the line. Yeah, your Lockie Neals and your Will Ashcrofts obviously were like consistent throughout the game. But Loman kind of took the bull by the horns.
Toby Green.
Green, the movement.
Handball inside. Tom Green. Bunch of T Greens out here. Oh, well done by Ginnivan to get back in defence. Cam McKenzie slingshot him forward. Darcy Jones has other ideas. Chol, little outlet option. That's nice. Looks back inboard.
Cholsky.
Chip over the top. Look at Battle. He loves getting forward, the boy. Dylan Moore. This is a training drill. This is great football from the Hawks. Gunston. Little fake. Pops it up on his left. Lloyd Meek is his name. And marking the ball in the goal square is his game.
I thought Briggs was going to get back there and spoil that. That was exciting.
Satisfying, wasn't it? End to end there.
That is a deep, like this will be a goal, obviously. Like that's a big score from the back half. They moved that from really deep in defence.
True Eagle is in the chat. Hello. He says, I've been burned by last year's derby. And
oh my God.
He hasn't.
Oh my, that
it went through, did it?
Sorry, cut you off.
No, you're right.
Because that wind's probably affecting the ball drop as well.
Far out,
like,
yeah.
Not even just where the ball goes, but actually getting it to your foot, especially a tall guy. Like that might have been waxed.
This is Tassie life, mate.
Yeah.
This is...
Wow. Emrys commented, Jesse, you should be in the room right now. And Jesse replied, I requested not to be on account of the creators list. That's funny. Never going to live that down now, mate.
I mean, gee.
Are you embracing it?
Yeah, I mean, I was never really upset about it. Like, I mean, I'd say the good outweighed the bad with that, to be honest. Like,
100%.
You know?
Yeah. Love that.
Oh,
what else have we got in the comments?
Who do you boys support? I support Freo.
I support North.
Yeah, I'm a Sydney man. Yeah.
Sydney have 6 or so best 22 guys out and are still in the contest in all of the games. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that, and Sydney's missing the captain and probably their best ball user, or definitely their best ball user. They're missing Goulden and they're missing
the one.
Mills.
Yeah, Goulden's the one for me.
Yeah,
like he's integral to the way that they want to play footy. I think
100%.
Yeah, and that's why I was worried about them in this front half of the year, and worried about we had that big. Druzy and I had a bit of a meltdown and we got clipped up by a Sydney podcast for
True Bloods.
True Bloods boys. Yeah, they got into us because we said they're cooked, which we probably went a little bit early on. Let's be honest. But
no, I'll back it. Sydney won't make top 8.
I reckon it'll be touch and go. The key, like you'd have to admit, even as a Sydney fan, their key position stocks are a little bit like that's a weakness.
Some would say spineless.
Well, that's what we called them.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, Hopefully they clip this up. But I mean, honestly, I don't. As long as your key forward can bring the ball to ground, I don't think you need this big 60, 70 goal key forward.
Totally agree with you.
Key defense is different. I think you definitely need good key defenders, but I think Sydney do have that. I think like Hamling is a premiership defender. McCartan is a.
Oh, wait a second. Hamling.
He's been good. He was good against Fremantle.
You can't argue with the fact that he is a premiership key defender.
He was good against Fremantle.
I can't argue with that. That's a fact.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, he
is actually solid. Like,
is he above Francis in the pecking order?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say so. I'm not a big fan of
He was
Francis.
never bad for the Dockers.
No,
like,
he's serviceable. Like all he could to do is not let the other, not let his opponent mark it. He doesn't really do that.
Yeah, like if your team defense is set up well, he's a solid key defender. If it's coming in like from center clearance every single time, then it's different. Different grade.
I think all the goals, and Tom McCartan's our best defender. I think all the goals were kicked on him. Like I don't think any of the goals were kicked on Hamling in that last game we played.
Yeah, Hamling was on Amos, was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you prefer Tom McCartan down there? Like, do you only want to see him in defense?
I mean, I think he's like he looked like our best marking forward when he was there as well.
Yeah.
But I think he's
also...
also...
I'd agree with that.
I think he's also by far our best defender. And with Melican out, I think, he's definitely got to be in defence for sure.
Yeah. If you had like a fully fit squad, do you think Tom McCartan would play forward?
No, definitely not. Logan McDonald's out. I still think he's good enough to take a mark. Like, and Sydney's whole thing's always been about the other guys getting goals. It doesn't have to be. Like, I mean, Warner kicked like 40 goals last year almost. Same with Heaney.
But at the same time, you've always played a really aerial style in your forward half. So you've always had like the ideal setup's been McLean, McDonald and Amadi. Like that's big. That's a big forward line.
But then that one's getting the goals. Except for when Amadi kicked 9. But other than that, they're bringing the ball to ground.
They're bringing the ball to ground. And the problem is, though, like the rebuttal, again, I for some reason keep saying rebuttal.
New buzzword.
Absolutely new buzz. Is like when the opposition run the ball out, like who's putting the pressure on? Because you obviously lose a runner or a pressure guy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. And I mean, Sam Wicks sort of was that guy, but now he's a defender.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got Tom Papley, who's a pressure guy. You got Will Haywood there, who's not small at all.
That's the thing, though. Like I reckon with that, most teams. I'm not necessarily saying it's a fail. I'm just saying most teams would probably have Haywood as the third, whereas Sydney run him as the fourth. And then you've got
Gunno.
He's
missed a shitter.
This wind.
Aim for the right boundary post. How hard is it?
Like, so who have you got then after Haywood? You got Paps and...
Gee, who is in there right now? I should probably... I know Warner's playing a lot.
Well, he's rotating and...
James Jordan starts in the forward line. I'm definitely missing someone, but...
It's just a different sort of a forward line. So I'm not saying that it can't work.
Yeah.
But it is different to what maybe a Giants are doing, what the Hawks are doing. They're probably shrinking. Like, Hawks have played at the beginning of this season, like, one key position forward.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd argue what Sydney was doing is working better than what the Hawks have done. I would argue. I mean, Sydney was number one. They were 13-1 playing that way, and I think Sydney lost 2 games last year until the grand final by more than a goal. Like they only lost 2 games, so I think that works.
Well, they got belted by Port Adelaide in that sort of poor patch. I thought there was a game against Collingwood, and it would that have been like 4 losses in a row? Sam Taylor on Watson, unbelievable mark there.
I think it's quite believable because Watson's 5'2" and Taylor's taller. But anyway,
yeah, I don't know. I'd just say like based on that grand final. I mean that's obviously 2 grand final losses in 3 years as well. Obviously the players in that team are unbelievable. Like the midfield's unbelievable. Having a midfield of Warner, Heaney, and then Rowbottom as the anchor. There's no better midfield in the comp than that for me.
That's with our captain out as well.
That's with Mills out. I sort of don't even count Mills because I feel like he has. When's the last time he's played footy?
Well, 2023 the last time he played a full year.
Yeah. So like, it's weird. I don't know where he slots back into the team, like whether he comes back into halfback or I do feel like there's just a few areas for Sydney where like I'd have to see it before I believed it, and that would be like that setup in the forward line, and it would probably be like distributors. He's missed that.
He aimed that between the right point post and boundary post, and it's just going to keep sliding.
Wow.
They have kicked 1 goal 5 for the game, but they've missed 3 real gettable ones. And with the field position they've had, these are chances that they
To be fair,
scoring.
though, like the Giants missed a lot in that first quarter as well. Like they're 5 goals 7. I'm interested on the.
They've missed some
position in this
gettable
game.
ones though. It wasn't like the Giants were really missing like sitters, you know.
Yeah, definitely. The Hawks have had worse misses.
Oh man, O'Halloran. That'll get there.
Green.
Oh,
I reckon
never mind.
Green's going to bounce back this year.
Oh yeah, he has so far. He was best on. In the
Against
Melbourne game.
D's,
Yeah.
Oh,
Barras.
yeah. Daniels was
Oh,
outside.
that's ball, you know.
That is. Do you reckon they don't pay that because it's close to goal?
Let's just see.
Let's have a look. He picks it up.
He's
he
got a
doesn't
fair
really.
bit of time.
Yeah, all he could have done though was just like he didn't have the arms out.
Green.
Tom Green. Nah, wind's going the other way at this end, buddy. Ward, can they sort it out? Aim on.
Oh, that's dodgy. He's still in, is he?
He's done well there.
Yeah.
He's done well there.
Yeah, he didn't actually go over. Wow.
How's this called from our man, Raid Mazray? Sydney should trade out some of their players and have a rebuild. Logan McDonald overrated, but would get them a first rounder. Get rid of Campbell as well, and you would have 3 first rounders. What do you make of that as a Sydney fan? Is that just complete rubbish?
Well,
I
just
love
think,
Campbell. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, great kick.
Yeah.
He was rated higher than Goulden. Like in his draft year. Like he went 5, Goulden went 30.
I love a bit of Braden Campbell. I'll let you speak, sorry, about that comment.
I just think that, I know this is a Swans fan having Buddy. Sydney always played better when Buddy was out of the side. Like, we never played better when Buddy was in there. I just think that this, big thing about key forwards kicking goals, like, it's not, I don't think it's this big deal that everyone else thinks. Like,
I totally agree with you. So, like, I'm not making that same argument that they need to kick goals, but they need to fulfill some kind of purpose, right?
well, they're bringing the ball to ground.
Yeah,
And-
but do you need that many? Would be my rebuttal, which might not be the same argument that what's the name again? Sorry, Drews.
Logan McDonald? Oh,
No,
the point.
the comment.
Raid Mazray.
Might not be the same point he's making, but yeah, finish.
Yeah, I mean, it is a big forward line, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's been an issue. Like, I don't really think that Sydney's had an issue with it. Like, yeah, I don't know. In that Hawthorn game, like, we could have easily won that Hawthorn game opening round with 6 of our best players out, which wasn't an excuse. And if Florent didn't kick the ball straight to Hawthorn in the last quarter, that gave them the goal to put them up by 8 points or something. And then we lose the game off of the momentum. But like, and then the Brisbane game we could have easily won. Like, I don't see, why everyone's so worried about the Sydney key forwards. Like,
Yeah, okay.
I don't really see it as an issue. And
I don't as a goal threat. I think you're right, and I think your point actually stacks up as far as they like from a wins loss point of view. It does stack up because they haven't had a problem with it.
Yeah.
They've been one of the best home and away teams. I guess the argument would be it's hard. It's just weird with Sydney because it's so grand final based. It's those 2 grand finals. It's rare that a team gets so badly beaten in any grand final, let alone 2 in 3 years.
yeah, I know. And that's, but I don't think the reason Sydney lost either of those maybe a part of the reason the Geelong one was because we played Sam Reid and he was nowhere near, like, I don't know if you remember
Wasn't
that.
fit, yeah.
He was not fit. But I think the reason we lost both of those because we got bullied with pressure around the ground, like from starting the midfield. Like, I think we got bullied by Ashcroft and by Dunkley especially.
But does that then have a knock-on effect if you come up against that sort of pressure? Is that when the forward line gets like isolated and sort of shown up, I suppose? Could be an argument.
Yeah, but it was the smalls.
McGuinness, that's got to be a goal. OMG.
It was the smalls of Brisbane in the forward line that was killing us.
Yeah.
It was that, and it was the pressure in the midfield. It wasn't really like, I don't think Harris Andrews was intercept like marking or anything. Like, I don't think that was killing us.
No, it absolutely wasn't. They moved the ball way too easily through you guys. Was definitely a problem.
Yeah.
And you guys just could not get anything going in that game. There was no, like, even when Heaney or Chad had big moments where they had like a big clearance, they got out the front of the stoppage. Like, there was just, I don't know, like they couldn't find anyone. It was like everyone was hiding in the forward line. I don't know if that's on the.
Well, Heaney had a broken foot in that game as well, which no one talks about.
You're right. Oh, that's right. He got subbed off, didn't he?
That mark was paid. That was a massive fly from
Yeah,
Weddle.
no, we did kind of brush over that. That was a big
That
grab.
was a massive grab.
Kai Broom said, I'd be more worried about Sydney's medium lockdown defenders and medium forwards.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would be worried about our defence more so.
As a distributor, Is Matt Roberts good enough to be doing most of your ball moving out of the back half, do you think?
Or do you need a Luke Ryan type?
I don't think a Luke Ryan type, but I'll just wait for this goal to be
Weddle. Or you've called it early.
Yeah, that's why.
There you go. They finally get one on the board, the Hawks. They get rewarded.
Is that a Weddle he's been swung forward?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's played... Well, I've seen him in both deep defence and deep forward this game.
They've got so many players that can
he's
do that.
legitimately flown. I don't think that's a mark, though.
I'd pay it.
Did you guys see that clip of...
No, I would not count that as a mark.
Yeah, no, he doesn't hold on to it for long enough. Ready?
Look at that.
Hold.
No.
Drop.
That is not a mark.
Yeah, no.
It was a good fly. What were you
The
saying?
theatre's good though.
Sorry, did you see the clip of Cade McDonald screaming yesterday on socials?
I did. I thought he broke his arm.
Yeah, there was a big thud that went through the earth when that happened. He was up there for what felt like an hour and then, sort of came down and...
Were you there?
I was filming it.
Oh, right. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I actually thought he broke his arm when I saw the
Yeah,
clip.
no, he's lucky to still be telling the tale, to be honest.
Yeah.
But Weddle there, similar levels of commitment. Newcomb, Day.
Here we
Hawks
go.
are now cooking. Impey running off half-back. Takes
This
a
is what we
bounce.
want.
Assessing his options. Little handball over the top to McGuinness. McGuinness out to McKenzie. This is a boy who you want the ball in the hands of. He usually uses it well. Gunston gets his hands to it, but can't take it. Gets it back. McKenzie. God, he's a slick little operator having a good year. Will Day spins out of traffic. Gets it back to him. Weddle. Now playing it bloody half-back. He's playing everywhere, that boy. Impey. Sells the candy. Could he go for goal? He's shanked the kid,
beautiful.
but it's going to end up in the breadbasket of Newcomb.
I think he deliberately did that.
Yeah.
I think he instepped that and it looked like a shank.
Yeah. Of the lamb variety. No, that's not funny. There was one of those today. I was watching the D's game.
Lamb variety.
If Jesse was here, he'd appreciate it, man. The whole dynamic of the show is going to switch up when Jesse's here because we really get off on that sort of stuff. Yeah, there was one of those today. I can't remember who it was. I think it was a D's player, like sending it down the line, and it looked like he was going for gone, and then he sort of sees like Aiden Johnson in the corner of his eye and like pulled the kick, and Mac Andrew intercepted.
Yeah.
But the commentators were like, "What a terrible kick is!" He's like, "Obviously shanked that," like I did then. But you were like, "No, I think he meant it." And in quick succession, the Hawks have got 2 goals, one straight out of a centre clearance there with some great run from their half backs.
This game's definitely back on now. 14-point game, 6 minutes to go. And obviously Hawthorn have the ascendancy here with that win. I've just got a few stats to bring up. In the hit-outs, 13 apiece between Briggs and Meek. So
Good battle.
An interesting battle. Clearances slightly in favour of the Giants, 16-12. But they're actually down in centre clearances, which are obviously like a bit more of a higher scoring opportunity there. So that's interesting. Giants kind of have domination at stoppage clearance.
It is interesting. It will be interesting to see if this is just because of the wind that this momentum swings happen.
How much that's going to close up, because inside 50 is also 26-18 in favour of the Giants.
That bad boy.
Big centre clearance here, because if the Hawks can get the next one.
Well, they need to make the most of this wind. Newcomb, high tackle. He's going to win the free kick. They're going to get another centre clearance here. Gives it straight to Impey again. They've run the same play. Top of the goal square. Chol waiting at the back for the cheap one. Ash says, no, thank you. Oh, he could have run too far there. Who is that?
That's Connor Stone.
Yeah,
he's got pace, but
He handled it to himself.
no composure there from Connor Stone.
Dylan
Moore.
Moore.
He's crafty.
that wind.
Is that Buckley?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a good player too. Good second back.
Do you know that room over there? It's Dylan's bedroom, and he has a poster of Dylan Moore. Big poster of Dylan Moore.
Because we have the same name. I like him.
Right.
No, that was a joke, but Dylan is the biggest fan of Dylan Moore in the world.
Just think he's great.
Yeah, he's
Alex was
good
like,
at what he
good
does.
talk.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not much
God.
to say on him. He's very good.
Here's Day. I like Day as well. I feel like there's... When teams come powering through the corridor like that, that wasn't like...
Watson! Oh! Made Himmelberg look like the little man. Hit him with one of these ones. You know the celebration where they like put the hand down here?
Yeah, too small.
Yeah, too small. What do you hit him with that then for the first time in his life?
160 centimetre Nick Watson hits him with that. He's
Himmelberg
strong.
does have the hybrid matchup. He's
Yeah.
having to take a small.
But that's like really small though.
That is really small.
Nick Watson is little.
He'll
But
kick
can he
this.
kick a big goal? Ooh, no.
Yeah.
He's kicked
Yes. He loves it. The Tassie crowd.
He could not kick a goal to save his life early days of his career. And then we played him down here last year. Dockers, Hawthorn was a great game. He lost late, but he kicked an absolute beauty from it. Hey?
You lost late.
Yeah, something different. Something different for a change. But man, look at this. Himmelberg's sitting under it. I suppose that's just momentum.
I think that wasn't a free because of how small he is. Honestly, I think that's the only reason.
Oh, no, he did go side. He did go side. It looked more like a push in the back. I mean, it's
body work. It is.
I could have done that.
Is that bad body positioning from Himmelberg?
Yeah,
to give him
100% because he sits like right under him with all of his momentum going that way.
Yeah.
Not that
I
I
almost feel like
football.
Himmelberg there kind of positioned himself like he was waiting for like a defender to come across.
Yeah. But still, you can't get pushed over by Nick Watson.
You can't.
He actually
You
looks
just
like a
can't.
teddy bear.
Yeah.
Like, big ups Nick Watson. He'd
I
probably
met
flog
Nick
me.
Watson like a month ago or so. He's really small. Like he's just a real. Like I didn't realize how small he was. Like
Was that in what's the
Oh, Hawthorn are going again. Another centre clearance. Sorry, we'll get back to this. Nick
what?
Watson
No!
sells the candy. Little handball. McGuinness. Finish your work.
Oh no!
Mackenzie. No, they still got it.
More!
Wow,
that
football. Hawks are back in it.
Oh, this is
2
good.
points now, the margin.
This is an exciting game now.
Talk to me about the height of Nick Watson.
I don't think it's relevant after that. Wow, but yeah, I mean, and honestly, I was surprised when I met, like, because I met Jack Ginnivan there as well. I didn't realize he was that tall either.
Where was this?
Just at like at an event that I was at, like I was working at. So, but yeah, I was not like because Jack Ginnivan's like 186. I didn't realize he was that tall.
Yeah,
like, everyone calls him a small.
They call him a small forward. He's really a medium, isn't he?
Yeah, but geez, I mean, this fourth quarter is going to be huge because I reckon the Giants will be up by 5 goals. Like at 3/4 time, like if this wind is actually playing the factor it is, this might just be fully momentum.
But this has all been like we were having the conversation at the start of the game about what midfield would you prefer, and this whole comeback has been from centre clearances for the Hawks, and it's got really nothing to do with the wind when the ball's, you know.
I feel like centre clearance too. It's like a pure midfield battle because you do have that 6-6-6. You can't put extra numbers around the ball. You never really know with stoppage clearances what's going on, like whether someone's like dropping a deep, like they got an extra one up at the stoppage.
That's where you need your McRae's.
You never need McRae, do you? Like you never need him.
St Kilda do, and they're loving it. Hawthorn have kicked the last 5. Who would you prefer in your team, Dill? Luke Ryan or Jack McRae?
Luke Ryan, like definitely. More difficult position to find. And I like Luke Ryan's like intercept marking and his defensive stuff. And he's like a good like medium size. Can play on like smaller guys. I just don't like his offensive stuff. I reckon he has too many touches.
Yeah.
And the game plan's weirdly built like so heavily around him.
Stringer, how's it going to bounce? No, they'll be right. They'll get away with it.
Look at the agility from Hogan.
Dylan, why is Dersma not playing for North?
Why is Zane Dersma? He did have an injury in the preseason, but ultimately I think with a player like Zane Dersma, he's going to be one of those guys, I reckon, Zane Dersma, where his entire career will be, where does he play? Is he a third tall forward? Is he a midfielder, like a big body midfielder? And I just think North have recruited so heavily in that position.
Sorry to interrupt you. Hawthorn have just run that set play when they go to the outer wing.
Yeah, off the kick in.
Wow.
Oh.
And they've set up Jack Gunston, the man that you want the ball in the hands off, lining up for a goal. Josh Battle, he's a bit of a blind spot for me. Didn't really see him play too much at St Kilda. I had a year.
Yeah, he's good. Good interceptor. Like
but he was great at driving the ball forward. That's what I've picked up most from him. Like he takes the ball from defense and just drives those legs. No one's getting in the way of him. Gunston hangs it out. Oh, the wind dropped.
Yeah, the wind wasn't even there then.
There's definitely when you look at him and Barris, there's definitely like Barris is deeper.
Yeah,
and they're getting Battle pushing up the forward line. I just think they're being really smart, Hawthorn, about how they're using those guys, like whether it's like Weddle or in like different games like Scrimshaw, Sicily, they're like just constantly moving them.
Whiz again. Handball over the top. Hardwick, that'll go. Oh, the wind is doing so much here. Anyway, back to that Dersma point. I think he's going to be one of those players that never locks down his best.
Yeah, I feel like he's clearly at the moment being that big, like he doesn't have the midfield craft. So like, yeah, he'll do some exciting things. Like he'll run through, like he's a really athletic player. But he doesn't have the I don't know, like fine motor skills of like the best mids. So he's not going to be able to play that role at the moment. And clearly you've got like LDU, Tom Powell, all of these guys ahead of him.
Fine motor skills. I like that jargon.
Yeah.
You mean like little like quick shifty feet on the inside type thing?
Quick feet. Not that every midfielder has to have quick feet, but like you've also got to, like we talked about those handballs before, those nifty little handballs, like creative handballs. You got to be able to get those out. And North just have this, like at the moment, like they've just got this conveyor belt of midfielders. Like Will Phillips was sub at the weekend. Like he's a pick 3. There's just so many guys in there.
Will Day. Loads up.
That'll go.
That'll go. That'll go.
That is a goal.
Oh,
That looked like a goal.
that won't go.
Like even North, if you look at our like the position of like the kind of the third tall, like Zerha's really playing it isolated at the moment, but we've got Eddie Ford there, who's probably next in line as well to play that role. So I don't even know if Dersma comes back into the team as that player. So he's just, I don't know. He's probably going to have to go to the VFL, pick up some form, make himself.
Will Day.
Carving it up.
Oh, that could go.
That's a goal. That is a massive goal. Yes.
That is huge. Well, who kicked it?
Dave.
Will Day kicked it. That.
Jeez.
Look at the picture too.
Sorry, could that? I'm not. Maybe I'm stupid, and small brain child here, but could that be goal of the year? Did you see where he picked the ball up there? He had no right kicking a goal there. That was ridiculous.
Wow.
Look where he picked
Jack
up the ball.
McRae cannot do that, Alex.
Look at where he picked up the ball.
Wow. That is.
He probably wasn't going for a goal.
No, he's just centered it. Yeah. It's great
Wow.
athleticism to be able to break away though.
Oh, yeah.
But look, he picks this up pretty much 5-10 metres forward of the wing.
That
and he's
kills
just-
you as an opposition coach, like that the best mid from the opposition can just drive away around that half forward area. That's a goal from nothing. What a star.
What a sausage. What's your favourite type of sausage you spoke about? No, we don't need to go there. Over to you, Dylan.
Kransky? I'd go a Kransky if I was picking, like a cheese Kransky.
Where have you had your like best sausage ever?
That's a good question.
That's right. Hawthorn are going back into the forward line. Repeat entries, repeat centre clearance dominance. Toby Green's back there to help out the boys. There's a minute left in this quarter and Impy says, we're going to have another lick of the ice cream here.
I don't know if you have this, Druzy, but like when you're in a particular, like I remember having a currywurst the first time I went to Berlin.
A curry what?
A currywurst.
Is that a type of sausage?
Yeah, it's like a cut up bratwurst that has like a curry sort of a sauce on it, and you have it with chips and stuff. And I feel like, I don't know if it was the best sausage that I've ever had.
I love that you have a good answer for this.
Yeah, but like it's probably not, but it's like the feeling of being in Germany and like your association of that with eating that kind of food is kind of cool.
I can't even remember what the sausage I had was, but I was in the Rhine Valley.
Will Day.
Oh my God!
See you later. Left foot snap.
He's too
Wow.
good.
There's 2 currywursts for you in the space of 2 minutes.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Now back to the sausage discussion. Will Day is a game-breaking, game-winning player.
Oh, that is incredible.
Jeez.
I'm actually speechless. I don't think I've seen someone play this well. Like, I know it's only a small period in a game, but like
Where
he's
is the
on
Bedford tag?
yeah.
Where is the Bedford tag?
And then you wonder, like, is he just too good?
Bedford's just on Newcomb. He's not even on day.
Interesting.
I think that's going to be a switch at halftime. I think that has
Surely.
to be. Oh
no, don't. Oh no. I hate this.
It's definitely touched.
That's happened so much this year. Like the what's it called? Gee, Will Day was celebrating a lot, even though he probably knew it was touched. But yeah, that's happened so much. That score review.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like I don't really like to see that, if I'm honest as well. Like goals being overturned for
you got to.
Well,
Do
yeah.
you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Where do you
Will
draw
Day's in
the
fantasy
line?
team?
Sorry, just back to that sausage chat. Jesse said, go no further than Bunnings. Great shout.
That's not a bad shout. Again, the association, smell of the soil, the plants, the family feeling of Bunnings.
Yeah, the like smell that you go past the playground. I don't really know if it's a good smell or a bad smell. It's just you can cast your mind to it.
A little bit of paint
Yeah.
that you get as well, like those sorts of things. That's a great shout. I could probably be an advertisement for Bunnings based on that.
Surprisingly, you can get a good snag in Hamburg. Well, I had a sausage in the Rhine Valley. I had 2 sausages, but I was more of a pork knuckle man when I was travelling through Germany. That brings us to half time. Crazy to think Hawthorn are in the lead after being, 37-4 down at the quarter-time break. Will Day, wouldn't say single-handedly, but he was a star in that quarter.
He was a big part of it, wasn't he? Weddle there on screen was really good.
Who's impressed you, Alex? Who have you liked watching?
Oh, I mean, outside of Will Day,
Impy was good.
Yeah. I mean, I would just say just what Will Day has done. I think Darcy Jones at the start was very good. Nick Watson on screen, he was very good as well.
They've got a bunch of players that can just break games apart, just keep putting the ball through them, and they can get a bit streaky. Let's see if we got any time left in the Brizzy and Geelong game here, which is running simultaneously.
How's the chat going, Drew? Have we got any more?
Just a bunch of sausage talk, really.
That's always good.
Let's go Sainters from Wooden Spoon Data. We've just flicked over to the Geelong and Brisbane game, and Geelong are looking like the round 1 Geelong rather than the round 2 Geelong. That's got to be holding the ball, doesn't it? Looks like a wet night in Brisbane. That's got to be holding the ball, doesn't it? There it is. So the thing about Geelong last week is they had no Bailey Smith, and I think he is such an important player for them. They've obviously just been all preseason, let's move the ball through Max Holmes and Bailey Smith.
I think they're for a game plan point of view, they're a real watch for the 2025 season because they've gone most of the last few years. I feel like they've sort of bypassed their stoppage game. They haven't really put a lot of worth into that. We need to have field position. They've kind of gone for we're going to transition the ball off half back, and now they have these new weapons. Max Holmes turned into a competition superstar. They've got Bailey Smith to sort of run the ball for them and play stoppage as well. So it'll be interesting to see how much that kind of changes the way that they play, because I feel like in past seasons it's kind of been more around the intercept work of a Tom Stewart, those sort of intercept defenders, and then run the ball outright.
Jeremy Cameron just pushing up the ground Last week he was in defence for so much of that game. Not actually starting in defence, probably starting on the wing, but such a versatile player.
I think I'd still like Jeremy Cameron, ideally pretty close to goal.
I reckon you want him more up the ground because he can kick him. He can kick him from 70.
Yeah, you're right there. I mean, we can kick him from 70, and he can hit targets as well. He's as good a kick as any midfielder in the comp. So it's not like you lose that, which is a strength of what we were talking about last week with the Crows, Riley Thilthorpe. He's similar like that. He was kicking darts inside 50 last week. Crazy stuff.
The Crows have North tomorrow, don't they?
What's that?
What were you saying, Alex?
Oh, we should definitely talk about the Crows.
It's funny you say that because we had I reckon a 15-minute discussion on them last week. I was absolutely waxing about them. But you talk about the Crows.
Talk your shit.
We'll do it at half times right now. Gee, I really liked them. It's hard to tell, like you were saying before with the opposition they're playing. Beaten up on Essendon by 10 goals and St Kilda by however much that was as well.
Yeah.
But I think just the amount of goals that they can produce from that forward line, and especially I think even though Fogarty and Thilthorpe have been so impressive, I think that Rochelle, how impressive he's been, and Ben Keys as well. I think that's been the biggest thing.
They've reshaped that half forward line, bringing Alex Neil-Bullen in.
Yeah.
He's the other one there. Rochelle is the bigger goal threat of those guys.
Dan Curtin's a bit of a matchup nightmare when you've got all of those guys that you just spoke about, and it's we got this 194 key forward that can do it all as well.
Yeah. The one last week that we talked about was whether Tex Walker stays in the side long term, and it's probably a little bit of a similar thing with that Sydney conversation. Do you actually need that much height, and do you need the experience of Tex Walker, or could you? One of the things that I threw up was you could actually play Dan Curtin as that extra key position forward. So you'd have Thilthorpe, you'd have Fogarty, and then you sort of have Curtin as the third, and he's such a good ground level player that he gives you something else there as well. Yeah,
I agree. I think Taylor Walker's not needed in that best 22 right now. I think that's definitely Thilthorpe's forward line.
Oh, yeah.
And Fogarty's, the other one there as well. But I think it's definitely Thilthorpe's.
Where do you guys buy into that conversation? You often hear, Tex Walker, he's got to be in the side because he takes a big defender. Do you reckon there's much?
As in the best defender, or as in a big defender?
People they'll just throw that comment, whether it's the best, I guess, doesn't really matter. But he takes.
From a casual, you'd probably think that. But if you were a coach and you were Thilthorpe, Fogarty, Curtin and Tex. Like, you got your hands full there. I wouldn't be saying
Yeah.
like Tex is definitely the one that you need to send like an Alex Pearce to from a Freo fan's perspective. I'd rather send our best defender to Phil.
And I think like ultimately it's like matchup dependent, right? Like if you think you can cause the opposition, like having Tex in the side, if you think that like based on injury of the opposition that could cause them a problem, you could almost play him. I don't know, like you could play him like in 70% of games, 60% of games, and kind of see what it looks like and see what you think it's going to look like playing in the sort of style that you're going to come up against in finals when they ultimately get there. Because I think they're going to make top 8 for sure.
Well, is there anyone really missing out that's like that Tex is keeping out of the side? Like,
That's a good question. I guess Curtin has been the sub this year, has he? At least once.
I don't think so.
He started against Essendon.
Yeah, right. That's a good that is a good question though.
I feel like all their defenders, like, none of them are really big names, but they all just get the job done.
I reckon that's the Vic Bias thing though.
Yeah.
If I want to bring that, like, if you call it Vic Bias or whatever, like out of the spotlight. But like, I think Nick Murray and Worrell are great.
Michelani, Hinge.
Michelini's an awesome lockdown small.
I'm literally just going through their list right now. Josh Worrell, are you a big fan?
Yeah. Worrell,
We
like
him.
he can defend, he can intercept, he can kick as well. So
Got a
triple
good
threat.
list. Wayne Miller, he does a fair bit, bringing the ball out of defence for him.
Yeah.
I'm literally just going through their list here. I'm not really bringing any analysis. What did you make of that game, though? It was a weird one because, like, it was just like an Adelaide attacking masterclass, but they still conceded 100 points to Essendon. And Zach Merritt come out and said, like, that was one of the most shameful losses I've ever been a part of. And then backs it up. You know, they come out the next week and beat Port Adelaide, who had a big win back home.
I'm
last
so
week.
confused with that performance for Essendon, like what to take from it. Because it's like, it's the typical Essendon response, right?
Yeah.
They have a really bad performance followed by a pretty good one. Like, I think it's fair to say that the jury's still out on Port Adelaide. What exactly have we seen from them this season? I mean, they absolutely beat up on Richmond in Adelaide. I think when Richmond travel this season, they're going to be really poor, aren't they?
I mean, even at Marvel, they lost by 70 against St Kilda.
Yeah, exactly. So they're going to be seriously up and down. So I don't know if you can take much from that loss. They lost heavily to Collingwood, and then that performance as well, like against Essendon. So I don't know. Like, does that game mean anything? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a bit of a dicey one for Port fans. I don't know. I only watched the second half of the game, so I pretty much only caught the hype that is it how do you say it? El Hawali?
El Hawley.
El Hawley?
He was very good.
Yeah,
Well, he was just that spark that they needed off half back. Like, I don't really know. I suppose, what's his name? Redmond can provide it sometimes, like that dash off half back, but
Redmond, like he's a bit more though, like he's a bit more of a marking player for me.
Yeah.
Like doesn't quite have that cut through necessarily like with ball in hand. Like he can kick a long range goal, drift forward, but yeah, he's kind of I feel like he's a different sort of player, but there's definitely like if Essendon fans are looking at that team from last year to this year, like there's definitely positive signs. I think Kako just clearly makes him look more dangerous. I know he hasn't had like completely the output.
no, he's a freak. When the ball's in his hands, like
It's so dangerous, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like it's just and same with Caddy as a tall, like not to the same level as Kako at ground level, but like Caddy just looks really exciting when the ball goes in his area. He looks like a real handful for opposition defenses. And then you get someone like El Hawley. I don't know how he wasn't playing in the team earlier than this because he's been there since the mid-season draft last year.
He
yeah,
was going to get a
right.
game at the end, wasn't he? And then he got hurt.
Yeah, I think that did happen, to be fair. But yeah, like I don't know, Brad Scott's really, really conservative when it comes to like showing new faces in the team.
Yeah.
But he's definitely one that should have been playing. So I think overall for Essendon, there's positive shoots of this season, but I can't see them doing anything meaningful this season.
I don't think they're ready for it, which, you know, they demand success as a big club that's been starved of success. But I think, you know, I don't expect them to be like a bottom 4, bottom 5 side, but I think they have enough talent in the front half of the ground now to, you know, win most of their home games, maybe pinch 1 or 2 away type thing. But like overall, it's just that defense, man. Like when it's a slingshot game like that Adelaide game, like their defenders just look all at sea.
I remember when the Ben Mackay like trade went through with North Melbourne. Like I remember thinking like, I knew we got overs for him obviously with the compensation, but I was like, he's still a pretty good defender. Like when he's alongside other better players, I'm pretty sure he'll look good. Like, he's struggling.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what is going on there. Like, he doesn't look like he can win a contest one-on-one. He's a big guy. He's a physical guy. He gets pushed off the ball. I know he's a key position back, so he's not really judged off his ground level stuff, but like liability when the ball hits the ground. So you have to have so much backup around him. And he doesn't like kick the football particularly well either. So it's not like you get a lot of distribution off the back half. So I think he's problematic. Zach Reed, a high draft pick from a few years ago that's had problems with his body. He sort of looks a bit the same. So like there's so much fragility back there.
He was good on the weekend though.
He was all right. I thought he was poor early.
We'll let him cook. We'll let Zach Reed cook.
Like he's playing like his really early parts of his career at Essendon, so I don't want to like put too much on him. It's not his fault.
But you think they're similar type of defenders?
Then you got Jackson Pryor, can't kick either.
Yeah, I'm just going like who's the big physical guy back there, and like they paid up for Ben Mackay, so it kind of has to be him. I love Ridley as a player. He has so many attributes, but I also don't really know. Like he's not the big physical defender. Like he's the guy that floats across.
Yeah. I think Draper's had a good year so far.
Yeah.
Other than that kicking style he's brought in. That's crazy, that kicking style. But
You're not a fan?
well, I respect him for backing it, but like it doesn't give you confidence, does it?
Nah, but I guess he's not someone that looks particularly like what's his background again? Because wasn't he born in the UK? Came from a soccer background.
There you go.
I think he's a goalkeeper.
Really?
Yeah,
You're telling
and then
me.
he's a convert. So I don't think he's like got a particularly natural looking
Like drop punt type.
drop punt anyway.
A bit like yourself.
Yeah, okay.
I'm joking.
That was a beautiful kick of the football.
I'll have to get him in the next goal kicking challenge, bro. We'll put it to the test.
Get me in there. I'll be sinking. I can't kick far though.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah, I'm really short.
Yeah.
Like
Who plays like that? Who's like a little short stab kick?
Jack McRae.
Jeez.
Case in point, Dylan sucks at football. Oh, that's based off your own words, not mine.
Far out. I'd be a similar player to Jack McRae, but I couldn't win a clearance. so without the hard ball, an outside version of him.
You really dug yourself into a hole with that statement. But no, like watching that Essendon game, like you said, I was watching it with my housemate, and he was saying like every time that Essendon win a game, it's like they win the grand final. It's like they just celebrate it so much, and fair play to them. Like all of the chat around their club, it wouldn't be nice, but like we were saying, Kako looked really dynamic. It was him and Caddy that really brought the game to life, and El Hooley.
The thing for me with those two as well, like it's not necessarily like they're not producing the output yet. So like it's not necessarily going onto the scoreboard because you look at their conversion rate. I think they were sitting at 17 or maybe 15% in that game at converting their inside 50s into scores. So like terrible conversion still, but it's more they're not getting outmarked, they're not getting outplayed, they're still kind of generating shots and stuff like that, and they look really dangerous. So I think some positive signs there for the Bombers.
From one big Victorian club to another, the Carlton Blues go down last night to the Bulldogs. I've spoken a lot about Carlton over the years, but I just thought last night was just a good, honest game of football. With it, like, I'm not the biggest analysis enough here. I never claimed to be, but just watching that, I was like, and when Carlton lose, I like to go on the Blue Abroad stream and see what they're saying, and they're all going like, "This is the worst that Carlton has ever been." Like,
and that's clearly not true.
But it's like
they've been on 3 a lot of times before. Maybe 7 times or something in the last.
I watched them back when they were getting the number 1 draft picks like Cruiser and Murphy and those guys. Like that was way darker.
Yeah, but like the Dogs have played really good football this year. I think with the amount of outs that they've had. To take them to the wire, they went neck and neck with Collingwood the week before. But it's
got to be put into the context of the expectations that Carlton had this season. So you can't say they can be happy with that performance against the Western Bulldogs. I know in isolation you can say it's not the worst loss ever.
Did they play bad?
Did they play bad? Well, they couldn't play the way that they wanted to play for the entire game. I think they started all right. And they were actually moving the ball pretty well. Whether that was Western Bulldogs, a failure on Western Bulldogs' system behind the ball, I think that's a conversation. But clearly Western Bulldogs shifted something and Carlton weren't able to sort of keep up with them. I think like for Carlton, it's like just every time they get into, and I think that's why fans are so disappointed with them. Every time they get into a situation where you go like we're ready to go this year, you just get pushed back down the ladder. You know what I mean? Like
Freo.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. It's hard to. I think it's whole club with them though. It's like it's a lack of ambition. Like we were talking to Swoop, Collingwood fan, obviously, so a little bit biased here, but he was talking about the Dan Houston trade and how Houston actually, like his ideal club to go to was Carlton.
Did he elect Carlton?
He elected Carlton.
Far out.
As far as I'm aware, and they didn't get that trade done. Remember, they traded the pick to get up to West Coast's pick.
Yeah.
Which, again, in isolation, like if you're looking at the future of the club, it's not necessarily a bad decision to make. But like, where are you? Are you pushing for the top four? Are you pushing for finals? You've been in finals. You've got players like Wiedering and Cripps and Kernow, those guys. Shouldn't you be building around it? It's like they never want to. I don't know. Like they never want to take a punt on the player that could move the needle for them. They just want to play it safe for me.
Yeah, well, what we're seeing now is just like it's Paddy Cripps or bust. And he was copying so many big hits last night.
Yeah.
Massive tackles. Like he's playing ruck. He's limping off the ground, like copying. Like someone like a Dan Houston coming in, like massively alleviates that. But he's at Collingwood now and they'll be playing off against each other next week.
We talk about it a lot on this and like those periphery positions, I guess, if you will. Those like, you know, distributing halfbacks and wings and players like that. I reckon Carlton's got the worst of that in the comp.
Yeah, probs.
What do you reckon, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, what I can sort of say, I mean, it is a long season and Carlton's been in all three of those games. Like they were in front at 3/4 time in all three of those games. So
you're a kind man.
I think so. I mean, I just think you look at last year and I was just looking at it then, but Brisbane started last year, on 3 as well, didn't they? And Hawthorn.
Yeah, I think Brisbane might have been. Were they 4 losses, 1 win?
I think so. And Hawthorn was 0-5, and both teams were 2 of the best at the end of the year. So, you know, teams like Fremantle, I mean, obviously the really bad game against Geelong, but them and Carlton, not as big on Port, but, you know, I still think that there's a lot of hope, and I don't think that they've been really out of these games, you know, or like, it's not like they're getting beaten by 60 points like the D's just
the
got,
Richmond
you know?
one was the most damning, but I think they could have, like, you know, there was positives in that Hawthorn game. I think there was positives in both of their losses, and that neither of them were like big, like, oh, we suck losses.
Yeah, I think you can draw like those situations where teams have bounced back from a bad start. I guess like it's one way of looking at it. I guess the thing is like they're not all of those teams that have started poorly. They're not all going to turn around, are they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like some of them probably will a little bit. They'll kind of like steer the ship back in the right direction. But
well, the D's are now 0-3 and they face the Cats at GMHBA next Friday night.
They got big problems, the D's, for this season. Like they're not doing anything this year.
But yeah, I get what you mean. Like Carlton's, they've got glaring problems with the way that they move the ball and their like stubbornness to continue on with that contest, like rugby drive the ball forward game style. It's not working.
Yeah, and like it's like I don't want to pigeonhole it to the point where you have to play one way. Like you have to play this like sexy football that the Hawks are playing or the Giants are playing. But it's clearly when you're up against that yourself, like when you're Carlton and you're playing teams like the Giants and the Hawks, you're getting found out, aren't you? Whether that's like personnel, whether it's system.
Well, I feel like the game style that they play, maybe it does stack up well late in games. When you're doing it for the whole 4 quarters, it's so taxing. Like they ran out of legs against Hawthorn. It's almost like you need that other string to your bow. Like Collingwood, prime example of it, move the ball really well by foot and like transition the ball really well.
Brisbane last year were one of the best uncontested marking teams, and it just gives you so much of a physical break, right?
Yeah,
Luke Ryan.
Yeah,
Luke Ryan, get the ball in Luke Ryan's hands.
We don't have it when it comes to crunch time though. But like so Collingwood have that and Brisbane have that ability to move the ball by foot and get uncontested marks. But at the same time, when the game gets tight, like, and in that contest, they know how to slow the game down and win that contested battle as well. So
yeah, it's like managing those moments as well. And I think like Kuko said it last week on the stream, like how they're an emotional football club. And I feel like you do ride that with Carlton. Like it's almost in those moments. The fans are like, it's like it's going to go this way.
Yeah, it's more than the last 2 minutes. It's more like the last 30 years.
And you feel like, and the players, like they actually play like it. Like they actually feel it. It's unbelievable. We're actually nearly underway here.
I might grab another beverage if that's all right, Dylan.
Go for it, mate.
Thanks.
You do that.
I owe you a slab.
Can we get a quick, just before you do, chat check?
Chat Check inside. Oh, my brother's in the chat. Nothing makes me happier than seeing Carlton in tears. Carlton fumbled it hard. Mute Dylan, we are winning the flag from everything Essendon. Oh, we have 66 people in the
I wasn't
chat.
too hard on Essendon, was I?
Nah, bro. Well, everything Essendon muted you, bro. So,
that makes me sad. We're underway here, though. Connor Nash.
yeah, go ahead. I'm getting another beverage.
You get a beverage. Josh Kelly. Ooh, we'll definitely get to that in a second. Here goes Weddle. Jake Stringer's tracking him pretty hard. So, what's Jake Stringer? Oh, no, that's a Giants forward half. I got a little bit lost there. How do you see this game going, Alex, in the second half?
Well, I see it going the Giants winning this third quarter quite convincingly, and then we have a finish where the Giants are trying to hang on, and I think that'll be what it is.
Oh, it's going to be good, isn't it?
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
someone getting mowed down on like the back straight in a...
I reckon the Hawks will have their entire team in the back line in the fourth quarter. That's what I'm thinking.
The question is, though, here, because Giants will feel like they need to get a lead here in this quarter because of the dominance they have of the wind, and then if they commit too many players forward, if Hawthorn can catch them on the break a couple of times here, and then maybe there's actually not that much of a deficit coming into the last quarter, like... I wonder if both of the teams have learnt anything from the first half.
Yeah, that is true. And then, the Hawks could really, really try and just make sure that the Giants don't, kick many goals as well this quarter, and then they know
because they've seen in that first half like how much the floodgates can open when the team picks up momentum, gets a run on. If they can sort of just shut that down a little bit. Oh, they've got a free here, the Hawks. This is big. It's my man. Dylan Moore. This will be tough to kick from here, though, won't it? Because the wind's going like across the ground back at him. He'll have to like punch it super low.
No, you would have kicked that, wouldn't you, Dylan?
Yes, yeah, I probably would have. Inside right post.
Yeah.
Punch it low.
Yeah.
Keep
nice little 20-metre kick.
Yeah.
I've come here with anger tonight, just potting Dill's drop punt. Yeah, when Jesse's here, we'll have to do some sort of goal kick, like true footy goal kicking challenge. Just
for sure.
I'm sure that's what the people want to see.
Have to get Alex involved in that as well.
Yeah, Alex involved them.
He's a Colt Port Melbourne player. He's not getting invited. He'll just win.
No, I'm not good though. I haven't played footy for a while. This is the first year I've come back because I moved here, so I'm not that good.
Don't sell yourself short, mate. Oh, they're double teaming Will Day in the pocket.
Bedford's. So did Bedford come off him, or did we sort of miss that with the tag?
Well, he wasn't on him. I think it was Newcomb the whole way. I mean, we don't have the commentary, but I think he's been on Newcomb the whole time.
How do you guys feel about that? If you were coaching, do you cut what's the analogy here? Like, do you cut the snake off at the head, like with the extractor, which is probably your Newcomb, or do you take out the guy like Will Day, who's probably a little bit more like inside outside?
You lost me at cutting off the head of the snake, to be honest. I'm not even
do you know what I mean?
No.
Like as far as look at say Freo's midfield, right? You got Sarong. He's like head in the trough, getting the ball out, right? Like he's the clearance guy. You've got Brayshaw, like more of an outside ball runner probably in that midfield group. They're still all inside outside to some degree.
What's like who do you tag to stop?
Yes, yeah.
I think you take the half back.
Did you get cutting the head off at the snake? Did you get that analogy? I'm just living in my own world. Yeah.
I now understand what you're saying. Like,
yeah.
If the river stream, where do you stop it?
The fish rots at the head? Is that I'm probably using the wrong analogy.
Who would you most like to tag? Alex came in with the half back, which is a good shout.
I like that shout.
I think the distributor is the main one, especially if you have a good one. It's
the thing I reckon where that's like a good idea, I feel, is that it's probably the most like an easier player to tag. Like they don't deal with it as well. They don't have that physicality in their game to be able to deal with it.
Yeah,
a lot of the time as well.
Like I mean, not always does Green kick this? Yeah, he does.
I suppose
on the roof.
I'm going to use this word again. The rebuttal to that.
You can't say rebuttal one more time.
Okay,
you use too many rebuttals.
Like if you were getting punished from stoppage from a scoring point of view, and it wasn't actually the halfback that was hurting you, then you might have to adjust that tag to a mid.
And if you're a good team, then your midfield just starts to dominate.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
If you've got the physicality in the midfield already, then I don't think that's really a problem. You just back your mids to play defensive, I guess.
Yeah.
More so.
The actual Baron in the chat asking what game we're on. We are on the GWS Hawks game. I was thinking of switching it over, but that second quarter from the Hawks has kept me glued to it.
I was getting ready for it. I was like, we're going to go to the Cats.
Hawks are missing Warple, our clearance guy. Haven't been struggling from a clearance point of view, unless you can differ me on that deal with the stats, but I thought they looked pretty good from clearance in the second quarter.
Well, no, they've actually been beaten at around the ground clearances, so I think it's a good point. Where they've been really good, and I think this Hawthorn team in general has been really good, is centre clearance, where they can get
Good
that.
tackle.
They can get those really juicy clearances, like direct ones with Will Day, and then score off them. I think is probably without having score sources. Oh wow!
Whiz! This is a Wiz legacy game right now. I've never seen him play this well, like just around the ground.
He's had a couple of poor games to start this season too.
Oh, he should have hit the R1. You know when you're playing on FIFA and you hit R1, just let it run through the legs. He should have done that. Yep. That's what I would have done.
Oh, that
if I was
handball
out
from
there.
Newcomb. That was an absolute. bullet.
Troll, you're in the best position. Oh, Taylor with a big fist. Seen that once or twice. Hardwick, he couldn't. Oh.
Halloran. See, that's that player again. Like O'Halloran, he's the winger. He's getting back. He's spoiling. Taking a couple of intercept. He probably hasn't taken any intercept marks, but you know what I'm saying. He's doing the defensive stuff. He's blocking the holes.
David Harrison just wanted to weigh in on the Carlton chat, saying Carlton dump sorry, let me say this again. Carlton dumped one of the best strength and conditioning trainers in the AFL, who was... What's his name?
I don't know the name, but I remember the story.
He was on Dylan Friends.
Yeah.
God, I've got his name now. But he was at Hawthorn.
We have Google.
Yes, we do. He was at Hawthorn. I think he might have been at Essendon in the early 2000s as well, and then went to Carlton.
Yeah, and he kind of got thrown under the bus a bit, didn't he?
Yeah. Come on. Give me a name, Dylan. Shoot
Callahan
me
again.
All these
Wow.
names that don't sound like the person I'm thinking
Daniels.
of coming
Over the top. And Hogan's got another one. Is that his third? I think that's his third.
Bang.
Jeez,
Well called,
just
Alex.
as we thought. Yeah, the Giants are back up.
up. Andrew Russell.
Thanks for carrying us through that, Alex. So the Carlton Football Club got rid of Andrew Russell, who's been renowned for being one of the best strength and conditioning coaches in the competition over the last 25 years, and now they can't run out a game. Playing their tough contested game will see them run out of petrol tickets as well. It's rough that Carlton don't have any game-breaking kicks. And that sums it up well.
I think it sums it up quite well. I think, I don't necessarily buy into the fact that they're not running out games because they're not fit enough.
No, but it is that lack of ability to change gears. It's like they're always in second gear. Their motor's always revving.
If you can't control the ball, you're definitely going to be putting out a higher physical output to be able to play the way to get from contest to contest. And you're putting a lot of tax on, I feel like more than anyone, like I've said it a few times, but like they put more pressure on their top players than anyone in the competition, your Cripps and your Walsh, and they just have to do too much ultimately. And even like things like kicking, when we talk about efficiency and potency with your kicking, like if you're tired, you're not going to kick the football as well. Guinea.
Impy, little pop kick to a bit of space.
I feel like Hawthorn look better in this
Hardwick
quarter.
has been so clean. I want to see this man kick a goal right now.
The Don Vale product.
Wow. This will be the first goal kicked, I think.
At this end?
Oh, yeah, actually.
It may be.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure the Giants went,
That's why you're here, Alex. You come up with those stuff.
Hardwick has been unreal tonight. Like, he is... Every one-on-one contest I've seen him in, he has looked
He's
hot.
sharp, isn't he? He's
Gunson, still getting it done in 2025.
He's so
by the way.
chody.
No.
He's rotund.
That doesn't work. That sends my mind elsewhere. He's so chody.
He's hard to tackle.
You could just say he's strong in the core.
I could have just said it, yeah. He has core strength.
He's been working with Andrew Russell this offseason.
Has there been a goal kicked up that end? No, there has not.
Great
whatever it has
call.
now.
There's no footy without Alex. There is only footy with Alex. That should be a catchphrase. You're welcome.
Thank you, mate.
Into the top 20
football.
list. Football. You'll get around to it, Alex. We're weird here.
Okay.
I think I think the Giants have got to get out by at least 30 here, otherwise I reckon they lose. Like this quarter. I don't think they're going to hang on.
At
The
least
Hawks look
30.
good. I reckon. I mean, the
Yeah.
Hawks are going to come home strong.
They are.
With a wet sail in the wind.
Oh, that could have been a dump tackle on Tom Green. I'm sort of hoping for a Giants 2 to 3 goal quarter here, like a lead. I'm thinking maybe not 5 goals, but 3 would be nice.
You want or you...
Well, I want a grandstand finish here.
Oh,
Callum Ward.
Wow. Is that the
Watson.
Wizard again?
I'm telling you, it's a legacy game for the boy.
He kicked 4 goals in a final, didn't he?
Did he?
I think so.
Well, against the Dogs.
Did he not?
Was it against the Dogs? Is that the game you're talking about?
He's had
Maybe.
some big
I
games.
think he kicked 4.
Yeah, I don't know, but Lloyd Meek with a big contested mark down the line in the wind, if you don't mind. Eat your heart out, Sean Darcy. Here he is again. Use him. Oh, no, I feel like he's matured in this. This is a very mature performance from Nick Watson. Not to say that he hasn't had good games in the past, but
I think as well when you put in the fact that he's played some poor games this year too, and he's been able to bounce back from them.
Yeah, 100%.
Gee, Sam Taylor's a good mark.
Far out. He's got Meek and Hardwick there. He reads it so well.
Everything Essendon wants to know, do you think there's a better defender going around right now than Sam Taylor?
No.
No. He's the first guy I take at North Melbourne. He just instantly makes us so solid. And then you can play players like Comben and Logue as second and thirds.
I'd take Comben if it was a redraft first pick, I reckon, off his performance last week against the D's. You did this
first pick.
No, I'm joking.
Oh.
But
Wow.
Taylor.
He's incredible.
He doesn't even look that physically imposing. When you look at a Wiedering, you're like, God, I'd hate to play on that guy. He looks so strong. Taylor doesn't, and but he plays strong.
I just don't think that he can allow himself to lose a one-on-one.
Yeah. It's mentality, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
To an extent, and you see him after, if they kick a goal or someone takes a mark, he's there punching the ground immediately.
Yep.
He is so angry.
I love that, seeing a player celebrate their defensive action. I'd love to see that more in the AFL. A big spoil, and you're pumping the chest, that kind of Hawthorn style.
NFL spec. No, I'm not a fan of that.
You're not a fan? Yeah. To NFL? They do it in soccer too.
Well, sometimes you can get around. I don't want to see them doing a Hawthorn celebration when they do a spoil and it goes out of bounds and then they have a goal kicked on them.
I think Petrarca did it once. He got a spoil or something one game, and then he started celebrating he kicked a goal, and everyone got around him as well because I don't mind it.
I reckon Sam Taylor should just get really egomaniac about being the best defender in the competition. You know what I mean? Just really sell that.
Oh, what a grab.
Oh, Weddle.
Now stop this man. You actually can't stop him when he's running at you. He's a beast.
I actually think Josh Ward's been really good since he's come into this team to replace Warple.
McGuinness, how's the shoe?
Oh, he gets it around Callum Ward, who was playing as a spare.
He
hasn't marked that, has he?
Has he taken 3 intercept marks in the last 3 entries? Just kick the ball anywhere else.
I think he'll have 2 or 3. Oh, not 3, but he'll get Brownlow votes as well for that. For that Collingwood game too, I think, won't he?
The thing that sucks, he probably won't. He should.
Yeah. I was thinking about doing that on my page, some sort of defender ranking sort of season thing, because they go unheralded so much.
Far out. We've had a lot of conversations about the Brownlow on this show, about the changes that you could make to it with obviously the umpires pick the award, which is difficult for them because they have a lot to do throughout the game without having to worry about the Brownlow. And if you did have a different, a panel of different people, maybe doing the same kind of votes as the umpires do, but from a box, that would bring players from the defence and the forward line into it a bit more.
Yeah.
Because they would recognise when Sam Taylor takes 8 intercept marks that he's one of the best players on the ground.
Yeah. One thing with defenders is though, their impact can be obviously it's without getting the ball, but even if they can stop their opposition player from even leading at the ball. That's a big thing that, you can't really measure that as anything.
Imagine though, umpiring a game of football, with all of the concentration that takes to be watching the ball, watching the players, and then trying to go, oh yeah, that guy shut down Jesse Hogan. Like you wouldn't, would you?
Yeah,
you
no,
wouldn't.
of course not. No. I mean, like, although you have got umpires like all over the ground, like that are not in the play as well or in the other part. So
True.
Like,
How does that actually work? I'm not even actually familiar with how that works with the umpires. Do they all sit in a room and decide that together, or is it mainly the kind of field umpires?
I'm pretty sure they do it. I think it's the field umpires. They do it every.
Joel!
No, he hasn't taken that.
Oh, but Weddle did before.
Because the one
get rid of
change that they've
umpire.
made to it this season is they're now allowed to look at stats.
Oh, they can now.
They can this year,
For them,
first
yeah.
year.
If that's the case though, is it like on a piece of paper like they do in the NBA or something where you can see them like
Yeah,
as a box score thing, or like
William,
can you see
William-
advanced stats with that? Like,
don't know. Yeah, don't know the degree.
Like
oh,
if-
what's it?
Oh,
the
so good from
handball.
Watson. Aim on. They're on the fast break here. Or maybe not a fast break, a medium break.
Poor bounce.
You watch. McGuinness will get involved here.
I feel like Cornelio's turning circle is like really gone.
oh yeah,
Dylan Moore.
How old is he?
Maybe 33 at least.
Ginnivan. Oh.
Where's the wizard? No, he's playing more up the ground this game. Nick
He
Watson.
is, yeah.
Why
Oh,
would you-
Duke.
Why did you do that? It must have been a play on. It must have been a play on.
Oh, I think there was just someone in a good position to score. It'd be hard to kick from far out at this end, I feel like.
The stupid thing about that kick, though, from Newcomb was like it was not going to be 15 anyway. Weddle's been good in this game too. I wonder what the stats have been in this quarter as far as like the clearance dominance, because I feel like the Giants are just not winning the ball out of the middle anymore
Yeah.
since quarter time, basically.
I don't know with the Giants right now. Like, it's looking like it's going to be all Hawthorn the last quarter. Like, they
Yeah.
got to put some scoreboard pressure on now, or I think this game might be done.
We might have got this wrong. They still again, like they still have a lead in the around the ground clearances, 17-11, the Giants, but 9-6 at the center clearance.
I think they need Toby Green in there. Like, they
You
need.
could- yeah,
that's
you
what they
could-
did last week against Melbourne, or the week before.
The
Yeah, the
comment.
week before. Yeah.
The comment. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go.
No, go ahead because I was going to change.
Oh, right.
change points.
Just continue, guys.
Yeah.
Just knocking it back.
No, I was going to say, I think that was when the whole game like was won by the Giants, is when Toby Green went into the midfield. And then that's, kicked 3 goals at 20 something.
Yeah, I mean, he's just an incredible player. Like, he's someone that can shift. What was that for?
KC said, say Kenny and get $10. So maybe we've just made $10. Levi Ashcroft is apparently keeping Brisbane in it on the other game.
Yeah, I did see Lockie Neal's getting tagged. He's not
Levi
doing anything
Ashcroft
right
is
now.
keeping them in it.
What do we think of the jumper clash here? I don't think there's much of a clash.
Giants and Hawks.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
Although when I was making the thumbnail, it's like brown, yellow,
Yeah.
orange,
Yeah,
so-
similar, like in that same family, aren't they? It's I'd sort of like go for. I wouldn't mind if like AFL, and this is probably me like being in my 30s and kind of, you start to get like a little bit like this stuff becomes a problem for you. But I'd kind of rather when the team was playing away, like they just go all white. Like if teams had like an all white strip of their away top. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like the Carlton one they've got.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
kind of inverted, but into a predominantly white strip, and it just makes it really blocky and easy.
Well, I mean, I think they do it well with the shorts though. Like they always have the white shorts.
Always have
on
the white shorts,
yeah.
yeah.
That's Caden McDonald's pet peeve. He hates white shorts. He just wants it to be like one strip.
One
like-
strip of
yeah,
colour.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So if he had it his way, the Giants would be in orange like shorts right now. Full
Yeah,
orange
right.
kid.
Interesting.
Oh, that's a high tackle from a small man.
Wow.
He's going to put Will Day in a helmet if he keeps it up at that rate.
Yeah, the Giants have just like, they've lost a little bit of intensity
Have we
here.
had one goal this quarter?
Yeah, to the Hawks.
Nah, 2 to the Giants. Haven't the Giants kicked 2 this quarter?
Yeah, they have. They have
Yeah.
to have because they
Let's get a fact check on that.
haven't they kicked one each?
Nah, because the Giants were down by like 7.
Were they?
Giants have kicked 2 goals.
Yeah.
Hawthorn have kicked 1.
They need more though, don't they?
Definitely. If they're behind at 3/4 time, that's not good. Oh, Brisbane's coming back though. 11 points.
Levi Ashcroft masterclass.
It was Eric Hipwood who kicked that last one, but yeah, Levi's
Getting busy.
Yep.
What else have we got in the comments, Drews?
All I know is there's a couple of my mates that are watching at a party and they're saying, say my name and we'll donate. Ha ha ha. That's what's going on at the moment. Brisbane are coming. Can I get a hi from Footy with Alex? Say hello. Yeah, great. So not a whole lot going on in the chat, to be honest.
Okay.
But thank you everyone for contributing. If you could leave a like on the stream. I'm not sure how many likes we're at, but it does help support the channel. And subscribe if you are new.
I think there was a comment before about the Gold Coast Suns.
Yes.
And I've just remembered it.
Give me some Gold Coast chat.
Some Gold Coast chat.
Are they the real deal?
Well, we've talked, Druzy, we've had a couple of Gold Coast conversations, and I think both of us sort of agree on the fact that the list is there.
It's there. Sam Collins today looked like one of the best defenders in the comp. And I know Melbourne weren't too great at entering the ball inside 50, but man, his positioning today. You were at the game, Alex?
Yeah. Sam Taylor. Sam Collins is,
looking like Sam Taylor today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it hurts losing Ballard for the year. I think. Oh, is it for the year? I think that he's out.
It is, yeah. It's an ACL. Yeah, it's like worst case scenario because I feel like Collins is the rock, right? He's the focal point of that defense, and then like Ballard kind of does the little bit, I guess the icing on the cake. Like he intercepts a bit and he can distribute the ball as well as a big defender. So he's a massive out, but they're one of those teams like that they can absorb stuff like that a bit more, I think, because of their like overall talent, what they've been getting through with their academies and drafting over a pretty long period of time. So it doesn't hurt them as bad.
Well, they're a very young forward line. I think that, saying the real deal is in to win the flag, like King and Walter, like that, and Ethan Reid, like that's a very, very young forward line.
Yeah, that would be, that would have to buck trends, wouldn't it, to actually be... But again, it's like if they can be disciplined enough, and we talked about it before with Sydney, like they don't have to kick a ton of goals. If they can compete. And like Jed Walter, like he's a pretty big boy.
Yeah.
I don't think he lacks any physicality. If he can bring the ball to ground, they've got some pretty decent small forwards down there. I think like if you look at the players that are out of that side at the moment, high draft picks like Jake Rogers, Leo Lombard. I'm not sure what the timeline is on him. I think
did Jake Rogers play today?
Yeah, he did. He's a sub.
Sub, yeah. Like Lombard's not in that team. Like they got some serious talent. Like not even like haven't even played games.
Well, Rao took it to another level today. Like we've
who?
Rao. Like we've seen him. The first 3 games of his career, he got 9 votes or whatever it was, and we've just been waiting for him to really go to that next level. But like today, he showed it all.
This year just seemed like last year's first half was really, really good. And I think people were saying that he could have, been right up there all Australian first half of the year. But this year he looks different. He looks fast. Like I haven't seen him with this much speed. I think that's the thing. Like maybe it's just that Melbourne's midfielders are slow, and that's maybe the thing I was saying at the top was, is Petrarca and Oliver and Varney, they slow, but Rao looked quick. He looked explosive. He looked really good.
I think the fact that they have as well, Rao doesn't have to be the guy for them. Like really, I would say as far as like an output point of view in that midfield group, like he's kind of doing the defensive stuff. But what you get with him on top of the defensive stuff, like
Morrison, bang,
massive goal.
That might honestly make it very tough for the Giants.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe the wind's swirling.
It could be. It could be shifting a little bit, but big goal there for Morrison. Like what Rao does on a stat sheet as far as like putting pressure on the opposition players and then being able to like have that little bit of nip out of the contest as well. And then like Noah Anderson's going to do a lot of your ball moving. So Rao doesn't have to be that guy that's getting like uncontested marks and being involved in transition. Like he can just be a total stoppage threat. And I think
he has been really good moving the ball.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. Well, that's but like I feel like all of that kind of stuff, it's like it's bonus. And if they get that. Like Touk Miller's he's probably like a little bit of a declining force, but he's still...
he had a massive game today.
Did he? Did he? I didn't watch that game.
Yeah.
He kicked 3 or 4?
He kicked 3.
3?
But he kicked 3 goals, 1. Like he looked
What was he doing? What was he playing?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Like he was
half forward.
He was
starting
starting.
David Harvick's he's like, where am I playing? He's like...
Yes.
Everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Like, that was the thing with Touk. Like he was... Like I really noticed it because I had a bet on him and I needed him for a goal. And so I'm watching him the whole time like, come on, get to the forward line. He got to every contest. Like he just worked so hard.
The wild card for me in that midfield, the one that gets overlooked a little bit, is
Will Graham.
The humper.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
The
he's
humper.
been very
The
good.
humper, Bailey
chody
Humphrey.
hump.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how he played today. Like,
Very good.
It looked good
Yes.
statistically. And I'm like, if he's getting good statistical games, because he's the guy that can get parked inside that forward line and still a young player, like can go missing a little bit, right? So if he can get some more midfield clock, share that with Tuke Miller. Like,
Which he did today. And I think they would have been on a similar rotation because they were both like sort of like there was times where Tuke was starting at half forward. And
like the humper could be like.
does anyone call him the humper?
That's a new nickname now.
Well, no, I didn't come up with that. Like I've definitely taken that from somebody else. The humper. But like he's the kind of guy you could park, like you could 50-50 split midfield and forward and like creates a mismatch, inside forward 50 and just like win like Dusty Martin style.
Yeah.
From the flag Richmond.
No,
he
looked good today. He looked very explosive out of the middle. And yeah, like you said, Rao, like we've seen how good he is in the at the coal face when the footy's hot, but his speed today, just like breaking the lines, just through driving his legs, it was nuts. Ben King had a big game up forward.
Oh yeah, Ben King. Like, see, he could carry that forward line if you're talking about like Walter and Reed.
Watson pops it up. What a kick to Hardwick.
I feel like this is a trend with Hawthorn. Like it gets to the third quarter and the kicking just looks really on another level to the opposition, the field kicking.
They're finding different ways to win now as well.
Yeah.
Like definitely. This is completely opposite from every game this year, like you were saying before. This is
with
really
the Hawks?
different. Yeah, with the Hawks.
Yeah.
Like,
They're also doing it differently quarter to quarter. Like
Yeah.
that second quarter was all centre clearance dominance. Now it's ball movement from half back.
yeah.
I feel like a lot of teams are operating on this kind of like overall idea of if we get the ball to that spot, like the numbers spit out, the data spits out that if we win enough clearance, we win enough territory, we're going to get that, like we're going to get the score on the board. And they don't. And Hawthorn are just doing it in a different way. They're not like, we need to hit that spot consistently. They're kind of putting it on their players to say like, you make decisions in the moment. If you think it's better to go short and hold up the ball here, do it. And if you think it's better to go long, go direct, do that as well. And it's just like,
Let the game come to you type thing.
Yeah, let the game, like, it's sort of on them.
And I hate to, bring this back to Freo all the time, but that is exactly what we don't have right now is the ability to let
decision makers.
Yeah, just like let the game come to you. Like there's times where it looks like we're trying to follow a game plan that's not working. It feels like we're trying to be shoved into this box, but like Hawthorn have just shown here, like,
yeah.
I just wanted to bring up quickly as well. We got a $5 donation from Gritio.
Oh, that's
Strange
incredible,
question.
mate.
What's the similarities and differences between Josh Worrell and Sam Taylor?
Ooh, Josh Worrell and Sam Taylor. Okay, so, like, it's hard because you can't put, like, Josh Worrell's not in that conversation. As far as, like, trajectory.
Hawks are smelling blood here, sorry.
I'll tell you something that Josh Worrell is better at already.
Gunston.
Oh, Guns.
That's a goal.
Gunny.
Wow.
Oh. Gunny.
Wow.
Incredible. Did you see, I was just about to say Hardwick lost his first marking contest there, but he still kept it in front of him.
Yeah.
Like he dropped it, kept it in front of him, and then got the hands out.
They won't lose again.
That
they will
is
not
incredible.
lose again.
That is.
What do you mean?
The Hawks.
The Hawks won't lose
They
again.
won't lose again.
Ever again.
Never again.
Well,
They are winning. I'll just go back to that Josh Worrell conversation with Sam Taylor. Like, I think Sam Taylor's got himself to a point. I can't remember which one of you guys said it before, but like he's so. It's like the contest. Like psychologically, the contest means so much to him. He doesn't want to lose anything. He doesn't want to give an inch. I don't think like a player like Worrell sort of has that in him yet. He's still kind of doing a bit with the ball. He's playing on like second and third tall. So until he was like playing a guy that was like playing on the best forward for the opposition, I don't think you could sort of like in some ways compare him to Sam Taylor.
Yeah. David Harrison chimes in with Sam Taylor is a top tier interceptor. Josh Worrell is more of a defender first and then run. I think they're different types.
Yeah, they're different types of players, I think. Like, and Worrell's not someone that like particularly relies on like a massive amount of strength either. I almost see him a little bit as maybe a second rather than a first like Sam Taylor. But you might have said that it's tricky because you might have said that about Sam Taylor at some point. Like players can change, put on more size, get more physical.
Just had the thought to get up the other game on my laptop. We can get the. What do you reckon about that?
Yeah, well, that game's 5-point game now.
Oh wow!
Oh, I need to sign into my KO.
You'd almost tip the Lions at the Gabba.
I tipped the Lions.
Gee, Lockie Neal has done nothing this game. Wow. Oh,
Is he getting tagged?
Oh, I would say so.
Atkins?
I would say so. He's done absolutely nothing. That is not good for the super coach at all. Oh, I'll keep another one. They're up now. Revelge hit the goal. Jeez, that dominance. It was 16-48, and now it's 49-48. Well, jeez, both these games, like, who knows? Maybe the wind's just completely flipped here, and maybe the Giants. Like, who knows?
The Giants have just gone through a little passage here where they've like really slowed it down. Oh, Stringer!
Oh, it's McCurve too much. Oh, well.
The wind's still there.
Yeah, it is. But is it actually benefiting them though now? Like, that didn't look like it was. It kind of looked pushing to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of looks like a sideways breeze now.
And have the teams, like, they've kind of learnt from those first two quarters and like kind of shaped up a little bit and gone like, found the coaches might have found ways to combat it. It's going to be interesting. I think, it's still only a 20-point game.
It's out of bounds. Wow.
I mean, that would suggest that the wind is still there.
But again, is that benefiting? Like, that still went, 80 meters?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, but like almost, and Hawthorn kicking against it, you're right.
Yeah, I think it's just still swirling. Like, it will be interesting. I don't know. It will be interesting.
My laptop just died. Is yours fully charged?
Yeah, you can take mine. It's the same thing, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, there goes the sunnies. Thanks, mate.
All good.
It's going to reach. Bosh. And we're live. 14 seconds left in this quarter. Can the Giants
make it a
one?
game here?
Daniels hasn't really imposed on this game, has he?
He hasn't at all.
No. Yeah.
No, I've barely noticed him. It's a good point. I wonder who's playing on him. Because I wondered with that mix, like which Hawthorn defenders would take who. Like we talked about Toby Green. Who's on Daniels?
Morrison. I don't know.
It might be. Is he wing?
I don't think he's a defender, is he?
I thought he was a winger.
I don't know. I'm just throwing names out there at this point.
He kicked a goal before, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Yeah, but half the Hawthorn players just rotate forward, back, inside, out. Bloody, they do what they want, man. They just run out there on the field. Don't even have positions, half of them.
So this is massive. A 20-point lead for Hawthorn going into the last quarter where they will theoretically kick to the
goal scoring end.
You'd think so.
No.
Well, maybe
Giants have the good end.
No, Giants just had the good end.
That was meant to be the good end.
That was meant to be the good end.
Well, it's hard to tell because
I'm bloody confused.
Well, I don't know if the wind's swirling or not because I was watching the ball on one of those big kicks and it was going like that. Like it wasn't just going one way. I don't know. I reckon, see how long's left in the other one. If there's any left in the Brisbane.
The commentary team might be talking about this on the stream as we speak and like explaining the wind because they're actually on ground level, but...
3/4 time as well.
Yeah. Gee, that'll be so annoying if both games go down to the wire. We'll have to...
I know.
Do you have KO on your laptop?
I have, Fox.
Do you want to get it up?
Yeah.
And I'll keep the chat up on here.
I probably have it too.
Multi-screen streaming.
The only thing is, I'm not on the internet, on the Wi-Fi.
I've got the code.
Can you share it? We can get that going.
Let me see. What are your thoughts on the doggies deal? You're a doggy man?
I like them. I mean, I tipped on your video that we did ladder predictions at the beginning of the season, and this was in fairness to me, this was pre-Bontempelli, Treloar injuries. I tipped them. I said they could make a play at the top 4.
Yeah.
Given the fact that they have such a weapon like Darcy, I think they're going to win games because of Darcy when opposition teams. I think they've had a reasonably tough draw to start the season. Close game against Collingwood. Carlton would have looked like a difficult fixture on paper coming into the season. They've got over that. They beat North Melbourne, who are massively on the upside at the moment, the Kangaroos.
100%.
Well, looking at what North did to Melbourne, if North are sort of in that period at the moment where they're pushing teams. So that's a good win for the Dogs. So I don't know. I feel like I said it off the top. Beveridge has done a really good job at being able to recycle this team, bring in players, move on players like Jack McRae and Caleb Daniel, bring in players like Fraser, like Ed Richards into the midfield.
Yeah.
And the team looks dynamic and it looks good enough to match it with some of the best teams in the comp. Like
Sam Davidson last night just looked like the best player I've ever seen in my life.
What a pickup.
Yeah.
I've never seen him before. I'm enough. Like, I'm not enough. I don't claim to be a footy analyst, but like he just came out of nowhere and I was like, who is this kid?
He's in his mid-20s. Like he's not a young player.
Yeah.
And he won the...
He's 23, so he's my age.
Oh, 23, okay.
Yeah. So he is young. Definitely young.
Well, yeah, but he's like, he won the best and fairest in the VFL, I think, last year. So he's kind of like, he's ready to go.
Yeah. Was that for Richmond? Is that right?
Yeah, Richmond VFL. So
I know my footy, bro.
like he's massive. And then do they have some holes in their list? Like I reckon some of those players that are getting games like along the half back, like I'm looking at Bramble, I'm looking at, throw a name at me here that I can't think of.
Oh, there's a couple at the Dogs that are just like
dirty moustache with red hair going on.
Yeah, yeah, I know who
like
you're
there's a
talking
couple of those guys and I'm like,
So who are you talking about?
the Dogs.
Baker.
Yeah. Yes,
bang.
Baker.
Footy with Alex.
Yep. Oscar Baker, like ball in hand, getting caught holding the ball constantly, like not good enough movement to be playing that halfback position. Like they've got to do something about that. And I think probably the other hole in that team is small forwards with Waitman out. But if Waitman comes back, West is pretty good. I love Josh Dolan. And like I think he's too early in his career to impact and he's too small at the moment. But give him a couple of seasons. Massive on him.
But plenty of positives.
Plenty of positives for the Dogs.
The way they were moving the ball by foot last night was just so nice to watch.
Yeah. And they've always been a team. One thing that's always impressed me with the Dogs, like they've always had, like they've been ahead of the curve with how they run centre clearances and they've always had a massive strike rate. So even if they haven't been the best team at winning clearance, like centre clearances, they've been the best team at scoring from clearance. Like they have some nice little moves that they do in there, which I like. I think Tim English is like potentially a bit of a problem. Like I think sometimes he lacks physicality as a ruck.
I don't think he's a problem. Has improvement still. You know who we need to see some upside from at this point in his career? It's Aaron Norton.
I forgot about Norton.
He has shown potential to be a great AFL footballer and just hasn't just taken that next leap. We've seen what he's capable of. I don't know if he's playing through injury.
Imagine if like Norton and Jamara had both.
Sam Darcy.
Like that would be scary.
I can't believe Sydney was going to pay him like $7 million $7 million for 7 years. I couldn't believe that.
Crazy.
For who? Norton.
For Norton.
For Norton, yeah.
Right.
They were looking at it like, I cannot believe that.
Yeah.
Like
Rory Lobb's playing really well.
Yeah.
Really well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Roy. Yeah,
I
think I had Roy Lobb. Well, it's not going to happen, but I think I had him in like all Australian 40 man or 44 man conversation. Yeah, the start of this year.
That's a great shout because I think he's playing some ridiculous stuff. Like his one-on-one stuff's good. He's a freak of an athlete. Like how tall is he? He's like
208.
208. Like that's insane the way that he moves.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, what are my thoughts on the Dogs? Like they'll probably finish somewhere between 6 and 10 for me. They're sort of in that zone. And like if they get, I think Waitman's a big one. Obviously Bontempelli. Like they could probably do without Treloar, I feel.
Jamara too.
Yeah. Do they need Jamara?
I mean, who's their second big marking forward right now? Like Norton.
Who was that guy that kicked the winning goal last night? Is number 18 looks a little bit like Sam Darcy.
O'Donnell. He's great. Like he's a sort of wing half back, athletic one. Like they've done a lot of good moves with that squad, the Dogs. Like you got to give them credit for that.
Oh, Cadman just flew at it. The Giants
he's got it. This might. Of course,
Hogan.
It's Hogan.
Your man.
Sixth, something like that.
Cadman's just that. Like he hasn't quite put it all together yet. Like he looks scary at times.
You can tell he's got it though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
What would you guys think of Aaron Norton turning into a defender?
Yeah, I like it. I think was it David King sort of put that on?
Yeah, it's been thrown up so many times.
Yeah, maybe last year.
Drafted as a key defender, played his first season as a defender, and then got slung forward out of necessity, and it's been stuck there ever since. But he just doesn't really impact the scoreboard. Like I know we've been sort of having this discussion all day about how key forwards don't necessarily have to impact the scoreboard. Like he always does make a contest, but
my issue with him last night though was he wasn't making a contest at all. It was he was just like so the start of that game. I get the Dogs. The Dogs are trying to play long and direct as you would with a Sam Darcy because that's a weapon and you know, that's probably in their DNA a little bit because they've got like Jamara, they've got Norton. But he was just getting bodied out. And he didn't even have, like, Wiedering wasn't playing on him. He had like a second, who did he have, Lewis Young or something?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, like it wasn't like it was a guerrilla defender on him. And he couldn't even like...
Guerrilla defender.
We know what I mean. Yeah, like...
He wasn't getting a rebuttal.
He wasn't getting rebutted.
Yeah.
Oh, Lloyd May trying to go for the scorpion kicks.
Bedford!
Yes, come on, the Giants. I think Giants will win this. That's big call now.
Wow, you've gone back.
Yeah, gone back. I think
wait.
No, I think the
Footy with
wind's
Alex.
changed. No, this is the thing. I think the wind's changed. I think the wind's flipped over here.
They call him the weatherman.
Yeah, no, that's what I think. I think the wind has completely done a 180, and now I'm going to say the
done a
Giants.
180.
Footy with Alex, more like footy with weatherman. You said 2 minutes ago that Hawthorn are going to storm home to an easy win, not even get a scratch.
Change
I think the comment was the Hawks... No,
Need to
wait.
kick five.
The
Needs to get
Giants
like
needed to
30.
kick 5.
Yep.
And he's swung back.
And they kicked 0, and now you said there's no chance they lose this game. That's what you just said.
Yeah, but that's before I knew the wind, though. That's before I knew the wind situation. And I think that, it's just flipped the other way now. Look at Bedford. 12 touches, 13 tackles, 2 goals. That's just...
13 tackles.
Yeah.
13!
They should celebrate that like the Buddy Franklin thing.
That's
tackles.
crazy. Oh, they've called advantage out of the middle here.
There's Brent Daniels. There's Brent Daniels.
I definitely didn't call it the other way 2 minutes ago. I've called this.
I did not change my mind.
I've always thought the Giants going to win this.
Nothing wrong with the mind change, mate. It happens to the best of us. Sticky Mitts Hogan.
That was Daniels. Centre clearance.
Hasn't done
Bang.
anything all
Beautiful.
game. Might
No,
not
he's
be
been
a-
quiet.
See, that's what the best players do. They find a way to impact. I was talking about him before. He hadn't impacted, and here he is. Hogan, into the wind.
Oh, gee,
That's
that
going to
wind is
drift.
Oh, and it's a big meek.
Changed my mind. Hawthorn to win.
All right.
Did I say Hawthorn won't lose again?
Yeah, you did say that.
I did.
We've got both games up as well. Now we've got Brisbane Geelong on the lappy as courtesy of Alex. And
Whitfield's had 29 in this game.
Yeah.
he takes a lot of
Sounds about
kick-ins.
He does, yeah. And there's been a lot in this game.
Yeah.
Still though, he's been all right. I didn't think he'd had that much ball. Such is the life.
McInnes. Oh,
That's a good
that's
ball.
a good kick.
And that's your man, Druzy.
Hardwick.
I love Hardwick as well, actually.
I just don't think there's actually a weakness in this guy's game. Like,
Yeah.
could you name an attribute that Hardwick doesn't have?
He's not like elite at anything. Is
I'd
he?
say
But he's great. He's like
kicking?
good at everything. Is he an elite kick?
I think so.
I think he might be. I think he actually might be a sneaky elite kick.
Contested marking.
Yeah.
For his size. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what is he, 180?
Let's get Blake Hardwick up.
Yeah. Like, he's one of those like old school good footballer types, but he also has sneaky athleticism.
Oh, he called him a good kick.
He's kicking into Hurricane Katrina, bro. Come on.
That's true.
Players. I want to see hard. Well, maybe not statistically, but I feel like he just always wins his one-on-ones.
Oh, he's a fantastic
What
player.
number is he? 15.
Here's Whitfield again, just picking up his 30th disposal in the back half.
Love the cheap kicks, especially
Oh, he
if he's on your
does.
super coach or fantasy.
He just wears you down though, like death by 1,000 cuts. Whitfield just keeps running.
Rated an elite kick on whatever this stat is. Just kicks.
But that's just
I think it's just numbers, yeah.
Yeah.
But still.
I don't like disposal efficiency stats very
Yeah.
much because like you can be a Jack McRae and just like chip the ball 15 meters.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. My mate was having this argument with me like start of this season trying to argue Errol Goulden's not actually an elite kick because of his kick efficiencies like in the 60s.
Yeah, because he plays so forward of centre.
I know, but I'm like, mate, he's literally dead on. I think
He's the best kick. He is the best kick in the comp.
Oh, I would say so. He's number one or two for score involvements last year. Number one for the number of kicks he had, and he's hitting the target on 60%, and he's kicking 40-meter kicks every time.
If someone says Errol Goulden's not a good kick, I'm like, I'm leaving the room.
I know.
We're on
time
here.
we at?
The Giants.
Dylan Moore, your
Moore.
man.
Oh my God.
That's why Dylan has a poster of him on his wall.
What happened?
Someone clip that. What happened?
The ball just hung in the air.
Sam Taylor again.
Oh my
The
God.
Giants have the best defender and the best forward in the comp, though.
Can we just say from this game? This is just two really good teams going at it, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, that's funny. Sorry.
Oh, Cadman.
I didn't know Cardman played for the Giants. I'm here for the jokes.
What do we got in the chat? Druzy.
Over to you, Druzy.
Geelong at the front again, by the way.
Oh,
Back up by 4.
Dangerfield.
Wow. Just going to be down to
This
the wire.
is incredible.
Well, the good thing is that game's 3 minutes behind. So hopefully we get to see the ending of both.
Oh, that's good. We need that one to like have a stoppage or something.
Did we all tip GWS and Brisbane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about on the Cats. I was always thinking about...
What a kick from
I was going to say, speaking of, we do have the footy tipping, don't we, Drews? On ESPN. Jesse's True Footy.
Yeah.
The True Footy tipping.
I
should have mentioned that off the top as
I'm
well.
terrible. I suck at tipping.
I've not been putting all my tips in, so I do apologise for that, but I will be from now on.
Whoa. Sorry. Last 10 scores of that Brisbane game. The last 9 before that went to Brisbane. Wow.
Well.
Oh!
Yeah, no, I'm doing awful with footy tips as well. I think coming into this week, I was 9 out of 20. Like, really.
9 out of 20?
Yeah, really bad. I think I've got a couple right this week. I only got the one game wrong this week, which is Essendon.
Yeah, I got that wrong. I tipped Port too.
Yeah.
I had been all right. Like, I'd say across the first couple of weeks, like I'd got most of the 50-50s. Like, I think about games like Giants to beat Collingwood was a sort of a, like people were tipping, I think they were the favourites in that game, Collingwood. Like, did you tip Carlton to beat the Hawks, Druzy? I can't remember.
Nah. No, I tipped Sydney to beat the Hawks. I was
That's
silly.
right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Would you be doing bad as well? Could you tip Freo every week? Would that also play a part?
I don't tip. I tip, like, if I think Freo are going to lose, I tip against Freo.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I never tipped. I don't think I've ever tipped against Sydney. Since,
Really?
No, never. Even when we were the
Wow.
worst team in the comp, or like one of the worst teams for 2020 and 2019, I've never tipped against them before.
Come on. If you're going to play Geelong at GMHBA when
We
you're
always
a
beat
bottom
them
four
at
side.
GMHBA.
No.
We always beat them.
We do.
When
We
was the
beat-
last time Sydney played at GMHBA?
2017 and we won.
Would you tip against them in the grand final?
We always win.
Well, I probably should. It wouldn't be the worst idea. But
Brent
then
Daniels
again-
is heating up here. Sorry.
Sorry, I just wanted to go back to the we always beat them at GMHBA comment when the last time you played them there was 8 years ago.
Okay.
How old
If
were you
you-
when you last beat them at GMHBA?
9 years old. 10 years. No. Okay.
If I could just rebuttal.
No. If you can pull up the last time Sydney lost at GMHBA to the actually don't do that. We were injured 1 year. Other than the most recent time.
He's
Hold
like,
on,
he goes to
sorry.
stats and then he's like, actually don't.
but outside of the most recent one, we lost by 100, but that was because all our players are out. That doesn't
We
count.
lost by 100.
That was the grand final rematch. We just got done by 100 again.
Holes in the
my
story.
God. Oh, I remember that actually.
Yeah, that was really bad.
You couldn't play there that much, could you?
No.
What do you mean?
Like, no, as in
Like
Sydney played
they mustn't. They wouldn't play at GMHBA
Why not?
often.
Well, because Sydney,
It's a big crowd type thing.
well, it's more SCG half the time.
Yeah.
It's one in every 2
And
years.
Cats are like a quarter of the time when they're home in Melbourne, aren't they?
Yeah. Right. I'm pretty sure we quite often just play the Cats at the SCG.
Yeah.
Which is annoying. I mean, it's a good thing for Sydney, but like
Was
we
it
played.
the buddy game?
Yeah.
That was Geelong. Yeah.
No, that was SCG.
Yeah,
yeah,
but
that
it
was
was
against
it was
Geelong, yeah.
against Geelong though. Yeah.
We got a comment from a Hawthorn fan here.
Ooh.
HHFC forever. That said, remember when everyone said the Hawks would be figured out because teams would go to work on them? Well, maybe your teams are not good enough. You're coming in early with that. The game's not done. But I do agree. Like, a lot of people just thought, the Hawks, they had that jump here and then they're going to struggle. But
Yeah.
I just think they're so
I thought that was
well-poised.
always pretty poor logic though.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't mean like I thought that they were going to go through and win every game, but yeah, I don't think just because you have like a bounce season, then everybody figures out your game style.
Yeah. Sydney at Kardinia Park, 122, lost 43.
That, what, from the fucking 30s? From the 30s and 40s?
Well, there's the stats, bro. Those are just the numbers.
All right, let's look at...
Does that include South Melbourne?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure it
exactly.
does.
Does that include Kardinia Park? Like,
Big ups Wooden Spoon Data for coming to my back there.
How long has South Melbourne and Geelong been in the comp? 100 and something years they could have versed each other?
Yeah.
60 of them.
Sorry, we didn't put a time cap on the argument, though, did we?
I said we haven't lost there in a long time.
You also haven't played there in 8 years, bro.
Other than the time we lost by 100. No.
It's an argument made with Weet-Bix, bro.
I know we've won a couple of them.
Did you move to Port Melbourne because it was a bit of a...
Let's not dox his address here.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, I live in
in the area.
Docklands. I live in Docklands, which is... Yeah.
You didn't have to say that.
Well,
was that a bit of a
knows.
you wanted to be close to the history of the club, or was it just completely random?
I think it's completely random, to be honest. I mean, I was looking at a couple of different areas, and then, I wanted to live in like a quiet part of the city, but it's still the city.
Still close to the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, good choice.
Yeah.
I live in Frankston.
Don't even know where that is. I'm still new here.
Yeah, same here, bro.
He doesn't live in Frankston.
How long have you lived here?
3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
Sick.
Still very new.
Good man.
Who kicked that? Oh, Brisbane's back up.
Oh.
That is
Bailey.
Bailey. He's
Bailey.
such a good player, Bailey.
I reckon if Gunston kicks, he's almost...
That could be over.
Oh.
He's missed though.
Oh.
That's your man. Hardwick on the line. So where to from, like, for Sydney now, do you think? Like, we obviously wrote them off after their first 2 losses. They win against Freo, kind of kicks the season off. They got North next week after the bye. What's your... You've shown yourself to be a fairly optimistic fan by the sound of things. So you're just going to say they're going to shit it in, make the granny again.
No, I mean, I'm just not really too worried about us. Like, to be honest, I think we could have easily beat Brisbane. And I think if Roberts doesn't kick it straight to Dunkley, I think we win that game against Brisbane. And I think if Roberts doesn't kick it straight to Hawthorn, I think we could have easily won that game too. So
putting a lot on Roberts there.
Actually, no, it was Florent. It was Florent. Yeah, Florent.
Okay.
Roberts one time, Florent the other time. But I think if those things don't happen, like, you could be looking at a Sydney 3-0 right now. Like, as in, I think it's too hard. Yeah, it's too... Oh, wow.
Small margins for sure.
Yeah. It's hard to, but then again, we could have easily lost to Fremantle as well. So it kind of goes either way.
That's the thing. Like, every moment in this season is so big. Like, you think back to last night, Jesse Motlop streaming into goal, goes for the check side when he could have just, like, kept running or given it to a teammate. And
that's
end up
the game,
losing.
though, right? Like, that's when we talk about, like you said, like, yeah, if it wasn't for Matt Roberts,
yeah,
but he might do it again.
Like, if Voss kicks that goal late, Freo's like right off into the sunset. Like, that's what the season is, and ultimately that's what cost us last year. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, small things in games matter. Watson winds up, that'll be behind.
Do you see any of it like a natural decline with, I guess, like a new coach coming in, and there's going to be a bit of a lag period before that sort of really, like, the game plan really like cements itself on the team, and then you start to see the wins?
Well, I mean, Cox is doing the same sort of thing as Horse did. I mean, Cox was there. The last couple of years, Horse has been on the field and Cox has been in the box. He's been the one making the calls most of the time anyway. Like, I think it's the same game plan. I think it's just we're lacking our best distributor inside 50. I think when Bice came on, that really helped us. He didn't come on that game, but like, that's what happened in the Brisbane
against
game.
Freo,
yeah. Against Freo, he was the match winner. Like, just his distribution off of halfback and up the ground. So, I think we just need, obviously it's like, like you were saying about Carlton before, like, you need your, like, if you need your best players and you can't win without them, then you're in trouble. But, I think if Sydney gets Goulden back and you get your captain back.
I think the Goulden one is like absolutely the one, because he's... I don't know if there's like a team that has a game plan that's so integral to one player like Sydney do with Errol Goulden. He's so much like their ability to be able to score from like limited opportunities from bouncing off halfback is all about Goulden.
Yeah.
Because he just does not waste the footy.
Yeah, I think Campbell can do it, but they don't want to play him in that same role, And then
does Campbell I don't know about this like attributally, but like, does he have the same kind of like repeat effort sprinting that someone like a Goulden has, like that endurance to just keep doing it? Because I feel like that's partly the Goulden factor.
Yeah, it's that, and it's also he's just not an accumulator. He's not that
a bit more of a power based athlete.
Yeah, like he's good for 15 touches, and he'll be effective, but he's not a big accumulator. But we definitely need someone like that. And I guess Jake Lloyd's trying to do it, but no one's going to do what Errol Goulden does. You know what I mean?
Jake Lloyd's not the guy I wouldn't have thought.
We just got a $15 donation from one of my best pals.
Oh, wow.
Big love. Keep it up. Thanks, mate. See you soon.
Appreciate
Good man.
that.
He's the one that's coming to the footy with us next week for Carlton Collingwood.
Oh, awesome. Love that. Oh, Himmelberg.
The Giants have got to get busy.
They do. They've still got time.
Oh, Dangerfield's face is pissing blood.
Oh, Dangerfield.
He looks like he's about to go to a Halloween party.
They are 3 points down after leading. Like I assume that they've been in front for most of this game. What was it, 16-48?
Yeah.
They kicked 1 goal to whatever that is in maths, 7 goals. I don't know.
Whatever that is in maths.
It's been.
Weddle's had a big game.
I rate the Hawks here to be able to just see this out.
Yeah.
We've done it every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, done it every single week. This is what they've done.
Just wasting time, kicking it around.
We've got to wait.
Perfect.
We've got to wait till we see a team with the Hawks, like have them at 3/4 time by 5 goals.
Yeah.
To put it on them.
Yeah. Because when they're in control, they just get it done, don't they?
But if they're just too good, then,
Wooden Spoon Data, friend of the channel, just wanted to chime in on that Cardinia Park Sydney chat again.
That's
and
pissed him off.
Since 2000, Sydney have won 4 to the Cats 10 at Cardinia.
Okay. What about
He's mugging you off at this point,
what about
Alex.
since 2010?
Oh, you keep...
Oh, he
You
changed
keep
his
changing the borders,
I know we've
bro.
won.
You
in
keep
20
shifting. Yeah, I'm
I know
sure
we
you've
won
won at the
26
ground, bro. Everyone's won at Cardinia Park at least once.
I don't remember times that we've
I don't think North
lost.
Yeah,
Like,
well, North are different.
Let's just...
I don't think we've beaten Geelong since 2000. That's
I'm
not
only
true,
messing
but
with you, mate. But look, facts are facts, and if you're going to come on the footy from the flat show, you better come with your facts straight. Otherwise, you'll get found out. We're real serious operators here.
that's definitely
If
true.
You can't tell.
We've never made a mistake.
Not
Druzy.
once.
Never. You never said that Adam Chera had won the best and fairest at Carlton.
Yeah, no, never said that. Who would say such a stupid thing about such a... No, I won't go there.
I've got another...
Wooden Spoon Data, you've done good work there.
What about the Harley Reid situation? A lot of talk about his performance, a lot of talk about his attitude in the media recently, and a lot of talk about the fact that he might be coming back to Melbourne. Do you guys want to weigh in on that conversation?
I do want to weigh in on that conversation, Dylan. I think his performance is, as you would expect from a 19-year-old. There's been a lot... Nick Watson just plays for a free kick and gets it. This could put the game to bed. And this is where he kicked that shot against Freo to ice that game. Anyway, back to Harley Reid. Nick Watson is very good friends with Harley Reid, which is a...
Oh, yes, same draft year.
Yeah. No, they were actually like really good mates.
Were they the same draft year?
Yeah.
Or they won apart?
No, same draft year.
They were, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Harley Reid, his performance, he will be one of the best players in the comp one day. I don't think there's any...
jeopardy about that.
Yeah, like he's going to be a great player. Like maybe, I don't know what workloads he puts in terms of running and whatnot in the off season. Nick Watson's going to slot that.
That is coming back.
Is he pushed it wide?
It's fat, yeah.
In terms of his attitude, like, I get the frustration, with like the bird and stuff like that, and the way that he sort of gives away a lot of free kicks and that type of thing. Like he could get on with the game a little bit more, but he's just a young player that's not even a young player. He's a young man figuring out, the right way to act in the brightest lights of Australian football.
I think people forget that too. Like this is a guy, he's not from Melbourne.
He's a country boy.
He's from Bendigo. He's playing in front of like 10 people for the entire lead up to his AFL career. And it's a lot of change for somebody that age to go through. And I don't like, I think the critique around his performance is like really interesting because he's not like, what player is expected to come in and win their team games in their first or their second season? Like, and he's done that in his first season. He's been so good that he's actually been able to move the needle like that. So I think the performance stuff and like even the flipping the bird thing, who gives a shit really?
Yeah. Apparently tomorrow at the Derby, a bunch of West Coast fans are going to stand up in the 9-minute mark and like do these ones.
Yeah, right.
But like all the talk about him going back to Melbourne. It does frustrate me as someone that's from Perth because
I know you get.
Well, none of the talk of Harley Reid coming back to Melbourne has come from Harley Reid, has come from his dissatisfaction, has come with the club's dissatisfaction of him as a professional. So I think it's just such lazy journalism and lazy talk to go, he doesn't want to be there. Like, if you head over there and see, like, I don't know, like, how good of a club West Coast is, like, how good they've got things in place for Harley Reid set up. They moved his best mate over. They've got a pad for him on one of Perth's best beaches. He'd be living the life of Brian over there. By all accounts, the culture at West Coast is really positive. Like, so this narrative of, oh yeah, he'll come back just because West Coast is shit, like, it's just lazy. Like, until there's a genuine reason why, like, if there's a genuine story to be made of him wanting to come back other than the connection with his, like, girlfriend and family or whatever, like, just leave it and let the kid play footy. Like, that's how I see it.
That's fair. I think that's fair. Yeah, it's like, that part of it's an interesting one because you don't really know, like, you don't know where that stuff's coming from. Like, I don't know. Like, obviously, when you go back to his draft year, there was obviously like the Sam McClure stuff. He didn't expect him to be there. Like, do you think that's just a purely a speculation thing? Like, he's a country guy. He probably, you know, like, he's going to miss his family when he goes to, Perth.
What's the pull to come back to Melbourne? Jesse Hogan keeps them just about in it.
I would, I don't, like, from a person that's not a professional athlete or anything like that, but like, I don't know why there is this big kind of fascination with being worried about living away from home that we have in the AFL. Like, it doesn't really exist in any other sport. And I know that sometimes it's just a lever to be pulled for players to leave when they want to leave clubs as well. Like, it's not always something.
He's a country kid as well, so it's not like even moving back would bring him closer to, you know, his immediate family. Obviously, it would for his, like, the Dersma family.
I don't know why it's always put as a negative that you're living away from home. Like, you can take a lot of positives from that as well, from a, like, personal development sort of side of things as well. But yeah, I guess there is, I suppose, like, most of the, like you said, most of the smoke is around the fact that he has a girlfriend, plays for Carlton. She's got brothers that play for Melbourne clubs, like in the Dersmas as well. So they're all pretty good friends and pretty tight and stuff like that. So there's obviously...
And like, look, maybe he does come back at some stage, maybe. But like, until there's some genuine legs to stand on in this talk, just leave it. Just let the kid play footy.
Oh my, hit that.
Could GWS come back here?
Wow.
We got another $15 donation from another friend.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they're donating. Jesse's pockets are getting greased right now.
Wow.
Not mine.
That is incredible stuff. Toby Green is inevitable in big moments.
This would be. He's not going for goal here. There's no way. Oh my gosh.
Oh, he's kicked it. No. Oh, gee, I thought
he's kicked it.
Oh, no way.
Oh, Catman.
Oh, jeez.
I thought he just hit that perfectly and like the goal scorer had been left open.
That would have been beautiful. There's 1 minute left. I doubt it.
Nah, Hawks they've done a job.
Wow. Yeah, I think that should do it.
At what point here do we go to the Cats?
Probably now.
Cats Lions game.
Zorko's
we'll write it out. So by the time we click,
there's still 6 minutes.
left.
Yeah.
We got Zorko lining up for goal in the Brisbane game.
Oh, he's got it.
He's kicked it.
He's got it, Zorko. Wow.
You seem excited, like he's in.
Speaking of good kicks to the footy,
super coach, and Sam DeConning's just been subbed out. Lockie Neal's gotten tagged. My super coach is in shambles right now. So
Alex is crying inside.
I am. Yeah. Well, glad I'm not watching that game right now. To be honest, I'd be very upset.
Don't you hate that when you're really invested in your fantasy or your super coach team or whatever, and it can actually ruin your weekend.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, especially if I'm going to have to trade Neal now. That's 2 games where he's been tagged. Like,
so Lockie Neal's pretty relevant in Supercoach,
not
right?
Anymore. Like, no, he's not anymore. He's gone.
He's not even relevant in the AFL anymore.
Nah, he's sacked. He's gone.
He's done.
I'd trade him to anyone. I'd rather Jack McRae.
Well, yeah, in
of course, yeah. It's in any, yeah.
Did you guys see that Kane Corns radio call in with Jack McRae?
Yeah. Fantasy stats.
Fantasy stats. He's like, he's at 150.
The thing is, though, fantasy is like an accumulation of all of his statistics, though. So to an extent, fantasy is like a decent argument to have, you know? Like the best players in the AFL are also the best fantasy players, like to an extent.
Yeah, to an extent. Yeah, for sure.
I got my tip wrong. We all got our tip wrong. We all tipped the Giants. We're flipping it over to the Brisbane-Geelong game.
Do you remember when everyone said to me at quarter time that you tipped him by 5 goals? Like you've smashed it out of the park. What were they up? Were they up like 40-1?
Yeah, they were up by
37-2.
I reckon they were up by just over 5 goals. Yeah, I hope all that stuff I said about Harley Reid doesn't come back to bite me on the ass tomorrow in the Derby and he's just like a cocky, arrogant little shit.
I don't know. I can stop this now.
Because when you play against him, you hate him, but just like as a person, like I'm sure he's got a heart of gold and he's a good kid, you know.
I do think he's worried a bit too much about everything other than actually playing.
What makes you say that though?
That he's constantly trying to fight everyone instead of just trying to get the ball.
Yeah. Well, that's just maturing though.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's like figuring
when I
out.
was 19, I thought I knew everything. I thought
it's like because it's clearly not helping him. And you would think that like he'll see that at the other side that's those sort of actions are not.
But you'd rather that in a number one pick, I reckon, than someone like you want to let your football do the talking as a baseline, but like you don't want them to just be like passive in their shell and go internal. Like you'd rather him be sort of exuberant or whatever the word is.
Giving away 7 free kicks against Brisbane in a game that's only decided by 10 points.
For sure.
Or something like that. You don't want to give away 7 free kicks and, be super arrogant the whole game.
That's fair. But I back him in to learn.
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm not writing him off as a player, but it is just a bit annoying. It's like, why is he not, just being a bit more mature?
Because he's 19, that's why.
I guess, but I don't know. There's a lot of 19-year-olds playing the AFL, and he's the only one acting like that. So
yeah, probably because I don't know. I feel like he would just go out like in his under 18s or whatever, like and just be like, I am so good at football. Like
yeah. Well, it's often a thing with the top picks, like the number one guys. Like he probably hasn't seen the same level of professionalism as some of the city guys as well. Yeah. Like being from Bendigo, I think that's natural. Like, and that can potentially be an upside for him as well. That if he does kind of, get into shape a bit better and probably trains more professionally, he can improve. But like it's I guess it comes down to that conversation of like overall change in his life. It's like so much is changing and it's like it's frustrating him.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't become a Jamara and like get lost in the sauce of how good his own shit like smells type thing.
Yeah, which I think like would be like very difficult for him because it's all been very positive up until now.
Game. Yeah, it's game over.
Man, 2 really good games that culminated in average endings or just better teams coming out on top.
Yeah. Do you think when they scheduled these games, they should have? I know that it was we talked about it off the top that it was the
it's a rescheduled
game. But should they have done better to kind of like hide these games?
100%. I would have put them at 12:30 or 12:40 or whatever it is.
Or even put it on at the same time as the Richmond St Kilda game.
Yeah, maybe, which nobody watched.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah. I watched a half of it, yeah.
Until I came here.
I had it on while I was setting this up.
Yeah.
So I kind of like, I was watching Travalia like a little bit and stuff like that, but I didn't see.
I mean, other codes are able to, the NRL's able to have gaps between the entire game. You know what I mean? Like, between all of the games. I don't know why we can't,
Yeah, I don't really see why there needs to ever be 2 games on at once.
Yeah, there doesn't. Like even, playing a Friday game at 4:40. Like I guarantee people would watch that. Like they do it at Easter. Like having 2 Friday games or something. Why would you not do that, In
the Premier League and stuff, like in football overseas, it's like it is actually a bit more like strict with the Saturday stuff, isn't it, Druzy? Like they have more games on Saturdays.
What, Premier League?
Yeah, in a cluster.
They have like the 3:00 kickoffs that aren't televised.
Yeah, I would hate that. That's what they do in the NBA.
And there's so games. But like they aren't put on TV, the 3:00 games.
Yeah. What do you mean by not on free to air?
No, not
at
televised
all.
in England at all.
Right.
So like they do it as an incentive for fans to go to the game type thing.
Oh.
But they only show early kickoff, 3:00 kickoffs don't get shown. And then it's like, the 5:30.
That's only in England, I reckon.
Only in England. But every other country, you can watch whatever game you want on demand. Yeah. It's kind of backwards.
That's interesting. Jai Clark, a high pick, part of that weird shoddy deal that saw pick 7 and Jack Bowes go to the Cats a few years ago.
For what was it?
It was a salary dump, they call it. So Gold Coast basically had too much money on their salary cap. So they had to give a player to get his salary cap off the books in Jack Bowes, and to incentivise that to the club that they were sending it to, they had to send a draft pick as well.
That's crazy. Of course it lands in Geelong's lap as well.
But I almost think that's tactical as well, because the Suns go, well, we may as well like strengthen a club that's already good as opposed to strengthening someone that's like around our level.
Yeah, true. But Geelong are always going to be at that level. Like, look at Lawson Humphries, the Swan Districts boy that was kicking milk cartons 24 months ago, and now he's, bad example, but he's an absolute jet. Can kick on both sides of his foot. They just pluck him from anywhere.
I think with the Cats, like as opposed to it kind of like they're picking up jets from different places that people are missing. Like I think a lot of it is their development is just better, because they get guys that come into the system and play a bit of VFL for a couple of years and are just in the club for like 2-3 years, and they just always seem to like arrive. Like Dempsey's a good example of that.
Tom Stewart, similar areas.
They do find them as well. Like it's not solely that, but like the development seems to be like top notch. They've kind of.
Gee, I'm just thinking, it's completely irrelevant. But I'm just thinking Lockie Neal next week. He's got Richmond, I think, don't they? Is that right? Yeah, I think.
You're just thinking about your fantasy.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I want to sack Neal, but he's got Richmond next week.
I hate that.
Yeah,
you just want him out. You're like, I want to get rid of him.
Gone. Yeah.
Look at Atkins. He's still tagging him.
Oh my gosh, Neal's 30-something years old. Just let him like get his cheap ball like Zorko. Like, why do we have to tag him? Tag Dunkley. Tag Ashcroft.
You're not going to tag Dunkley though, are you?
Dunkley's been good, but yeah, I would be tagging Ashcroft over Neal. Like, Neal's not going to kill you anymore, is he? Like,
I think, again, though, that comes down to that question, do you cut the snake off at the head?
Or do you let the fish swim downstream?
Yeah. Well, Neal's the... Like, he gets his hands on the ball and creates. So...
Yeah, but, like, it's a question of, like, if you're, like, playing Sydney, do you tag Heaney, Warner or Goulden? They're all completely different players. Like...
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I feel like... What's more damaging? Ashcroft's, 20, 23 and 2 goals, or Neal's 35, Like, what's more damaging?
Yeah, I suppose the theory there, in particular with Neal, is how I think some of his... Like, the thing that I rate about Neal the most is I think he sees handballs at stoppage that other players don't see. And he opens up... I'm usually not on players like Neal that are pretty stoppage-based, but I think he's so good at creating at stoppage that he opens up the play for others. And I think that's how an opposition coach would see it. Whereas almost like with a Will Ashcroft, who's more of like a running player, they'd see that if they cut off Neal, if they get rid of Neal's output, then it cuts it off at the snake at the head. I keep using that analogy.
Yeah, I rate it. The game that we were streaming, Hawthorn GWS, Whitfield led the disposals with 34. Tom Green, I didn't really see too much off. He had 30 plus. Cam McKenzie with 30.
I noticed Cam McKenzie had a lot of the ball. He's a good mover.
Bedford would have been up there, not for disposals, but for who had the best game.
Yeah, 13 tackles, 13 touches and 2 goals.
It's not bad. Zorko nearly 1,000 metres gained. That seems like a big number.
That is huge. 1,000 metres.
Well, it's 850.
Like 500's a good game. Yeah, that's incredible. So this game's 10 seconds away from finishing. The first place that I would go with it is Geelong now in a slightly precarious position.
They'll be right. They'll be fine. I'm going to cut the snake off at the source there, bro. They played 20. Like they'll win every game at Kardinia Park. Like they've lost by 9 points to the premiers at the Gabba. Like
and St Kilda by.
Yeah, but they didn't have Bailey Smith that game. They'll be right.
To be fair, what did West Coast do? Lose by 13 at the Gabba.
Yeah. So and that just makes me scared to play West Coast tomorrow.
Is the Gabba really a fortress though?
Nah, not in the last little bit. It hasn't been.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah.
Lost to Carlton there.
So who of these two games? This was the top 4 showdown.
Yeah.
This is probably I'd say these teams are largely in most people's considerations for those positions. What does it mean? So Brisbane have won at the Gabba by 9 points. The Hawks have won in Tassie by, what was it in the end?
12.
Couple
was it
goals.
in the end? Okay, so who does it mean something for? Who's it big for?
I think it's big for Hawthorn to be 4-0.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a big thing going into a bye now. Like, they get a rest, regroup, and go again. Like, that's big.
That's a big part of it as well psychologically. And like, I think like if you could have thrown anything at Hawthorn up until this point, like they haven't really hit like a side in form. Like beat Carlton, who had expectations, but were like playing terribly. If you want
GWS.
Yeah, GWS is in form. Sydney.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, right.
I'm saying if you were making an argument against the Hawks up until this point, like who have they played? Essendon, Carlton.
Yeah. Sydney coming off a grand final loss.
And Sydney had been quite poor, yeah. So it was like, okay, you need to now beat put a marker down. And against the Giants that you actually get to do that. And I think that was two big sides going at it, I feel.
Yeah, that could genuinely be a prelim or grand final matchup. We didn't really get to watch enough of this Lions and Geelong game to take too much out of it. But yeah, another big 4 points for the Lions on the board.
I think you guys are underrating the significance of this game a little bit. Just in the, like, contextually, we didn't watch the game, so it's a bit hard. But, like, the Cats, what were they up by? They must have capitulated.
32, I think.
In a low-scoring game.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
They've completely capitulated there in some form. And off the back of a pretty poor loss to the Saints. So it's not... I'm not, like, writing them off or anything. Yeah. But...
Bit of a trend in performances, you think? Bit of an inability to hold on to games?
The question that I would ask is who have they got next week?
The D's at home Friday night.
Oh, they'll fucking win that.
That's what I mean. Like they'll get those games at GMHBA.
Yeah. And what was Geelong last year? 7-0, then they lost 5 straight, and then they made the prelim.
Yeah. Like, I'm not though. Like even though I know like clubs have history and they follow patterns and those sorts of things, but like I'm not happy just to say if Geelong lose 3 in a row, they'll be. You know what I mean? Like because they always do.
But they do always, and they always come back and they're always fine. Like if they ever go through anything, they're always okay. Like they did a 4-week rebuild.
But we had that's sort of like this conversation that we had about the Suns, right, Druzy, where we were like, you kind of can't like it's hard to trust them until they actually do something. But if you look at the team, you look at the performances that they're putting up, at some point that has to move.
Yeah.
And you have to say the same adversely like to the negative with the Cats. Like it's not like they're just
you need a bit of sample size, I reckon, though.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So if you were doing a power ranking right now, where would you have Geelong?
Oh, last.
Last?
No, I'm joking.
Jokes.
Okay, power ranking. So Hawthorn,
Hawks.
they are number 1 now. They've just put that down.
Yeah.
I think you've got to go with Brisbane.
Yeah.
At 2 because once again, it's like they're doing that. Like they're playing perfect football at the moment in the sense that they're just winning. That's
I would maybe say Adelaide. Like they haven't proven anything, but Adelaide 300 points in 2 weeks.
Would you put them higher than GWS?
Yes.
Adelaide. I couldn't do that yet.
Yeah, not
I don't
yet.
know. They've done it. They won by 60 at the
power
MCG.
rankings though. Like we're talking, they've beaten Essendon and who?
St Kilda.
St Kilda.
I know, but
I'm big on Adelaide, so don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
like I'm with you on this, but I think again we talk about sample size and we talk about like I reckon they're going to hit big scores, but they are going to concede some big scores as well. Like the ball will be flicking around the arcs with them a lot. So they've been awesome.
They'd be top like 6-ish. I wouldn't have them third. Third's a bit of a stretch. They've beaten 2 shit sides.
Well, who would you put above them?
GWS. Geelong, probably.
Okay, so GWS...
Well, maybe not Geelong, but... Yeah, GWS I'd have above them.
I'd have them above Geelong.
Yeah.
Like right now.
Yeah.
GWS beat Melbourne by 3. They beat Collingwood, who were cramping all over the ground, and they lose this one.
I don't put as much stock in the margins. I don't really care that the Giants only beat Melbourne by 3. Like, it wasn't a particularly... Sorry?
They could have lost.
Yeah, they could have lost. That's true. Away from home, no Hogan, no Stringer... there's somebody else. I always forget
Briggs.
Briggs.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. Yeah, so like pretty undermanned and like they're not historically like a good travelling team. I wouldn't have said the Giants, but what we've seen from Hawthorn, if you did it purely based on like they've beaten this team by that much, you wouldn't really be putting that much in what Hawthorn have done either. I don't think any of their performances on paper have been smashings or super convincing, but like, yeah.
Got to look at that next 4 for Brisbane, super winnable.
So that's...
Oh, wow.
They could genuinely win those next 4.
Only one at the Gabba, but that's gather round.
Honestly, I could see St Kilda at Marvel being St Kilda at Marvel actually
still banana skin. I know, like all their players heat up so much at Marvel. Like Rowan Marshall always goes absolutely mental there. Like takes big marks.
Sinclair as well every time it's at Marvel.
Jack Sinclair, Nasaya, like again, ball flicking between the arcs like that. Absolutely love it. But be hard to tip them to beat the Lions. I think the Lions will. Like I don't see them having like a 20-2 or 20-3 season or whatever. How many games there are in the season? But like I reckon they'll be there. They're just sit and steer at the moment. Yeah. Like
it's going to be so different like compared to last year. Like it's crazy that Brisbane like last season, that was their worst year, I think, home and away over the last 6 years or something. The year they won the flag was their worst year. That's incredible, isn't it? Last 6. Yeah. And it's like, because they were top 4 just every year, couldn't win.
Yeah. And they would always... And then like last year was the... Again, though, you come back to moments for Brisbane, like that game against the Giants.
Yeah.
They could have lost that so easily. Yeah. Like that game, it was over. But go back to that initial conversation of power rankings and where the teams are. It's Hawthorn. This is me. Hawthorn, Brisbane, Adelaide. No, sorry. Hawthorn, Brisbane, Giants, Adelaide.
I'd probably go with that same top 4.
What about Gold Coast?
Not yet. It's not. For me, they've played.
It's been West Coast and the D's. They've done what the Crows have done, but to 2 even lesser sides.
I know, but it's like you can only like.
So what would yours be? Gold Coast.
I would. I would say so. I would.
No.
I mean, I would still go Hawthorn at 1 and Brisbane at 2, and then I'd go Adelaide and Gold Coast 3 or 4.
That's fair.
And then I'd go the Giants at 5.
So is that a pure like haven't lost a game? So that
not just haven't looked like challenged at all. Like I mean, it is. I don't know. Like they've just looked. Just the way that they're playing the ball movement from both of them.
Yeah.
Like especially what Gold Coast did. That ball movement was just. And at the MCG, Gold Coast. I don't care who it was against. Like Gold Coast wasn't able to win a single game at the MCG.
No, that's fair.
This year they win by 10 goals.
I think there's a big potential that the D's are a bottom 4 though.
Yeah,
and. Probably in like I don't know, had a bit of a
Gold Coast. It was more the great work of Gold Coast.
I think they can do the same thing whether that's playing Hawthorn or whether that's playing Richmond. I feel like they can do the same thing. That brand
stacks up. The run they had off half back today as well.
I haven't really because like I didn't really watch fully the West Coast game. Because I was like, do I need to go back and watch that in a game against the West Coast? And then I didn't watch the game today doing the under 18
watching
footy.
the Gold Coast game back today. There's a lot you can take out of it.
I think you're getting so much scoreboard impact from the mids as well, which I think that's a rest. Like Miller has kicked 5 goals in 2 weeks. Like
that's a big
And
I talked about it before, like the fact that they've got so many like younger players, but like really high quality players to come back into that team as well. So
where would you have Collingwood in your power rankings?
We got a comment there.
Yeah.
I think I had him 5 last week. Like, because I do them every week. I think I had him 5. So I'd say, they probably sit above Geelong now and probably above Sydney. So probably 5 or 6.
Haven't been particularly convinced with what I've seen from Collingwood. Like, as far as if you're doing a power rankings, do I think that they can build into something with the experience, with the quality that they have in the team? Like, definitely, I think Houston's massive for what he can do to this team, particularly like more like as he gets more games into that team. But I don't know, like I can't think of really watching them at all this season and going like you're playing like awesome football.
How much they beat Port by? 90? Like, that was when the North game was on. So
it was actually. We missed that one.
But I mean, they had chances in that third quarter. I was at the Giants game when they played Collingwood. They had chances in that third quarter. I think they kicked 8 behinds or something in that third. And then Dacos cramps and the whole team's cramping and they lose by 50.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I mean, it's so hard to do power rankings this early. And what do you base it off?
Of course it is. Because you need, and I think that's the thing. Like for me, both Adelaide and the Gold, even though I had Adelaide as like the 4th team in my power rankings, they probably like, they need a scalp. Like they need a
Yeah.
scalp, like a win against a Brisbane, a Geelong, even a Freo in Freo or something to kind of go like we're beating someone that we probably shouldn't be.
In the chart, we're getting a lot of St Kilda a stiff. Where do you rate them? They've beaten the Cats. They had a 92-point half today against Richmond, but where do you put the Saints?
I mean, the Geelong wins, that's a great win.
You probably have to put them top 8 based on this year. If we're going on this year, if we're saying Adelaide are a top 3 side, why can you not say that St Kilda?
I could go 10 teams easily better than St Kilda this year still.
Yeah, true.
I love...
But based on performances in the last 2 weeks, but it's hard to argue against.
Then we're forgetting... And the thing is, like, you can make an excuse for Collingwood, I think because of the cramping and because they miss so much. You can't make an excuse for St Kilda in that game against Adelaide. Like, you can't make an excuse for being that
Would you have
bad.
St Kilda higher than Freo?
No.
Even though, I don't know.
What are we... We probably need to set some parameters here for these power rankings. So it's like, what are you going like slightly based on how you had teams at the start of the season and then kind of moving them? I mean, I think I had Saints 4th bottom.
Let me check what I did last week because I wouldn't change St Kilda any higher based on what happened against
I don't think
Richmond.
I don't think I'd move them on the ladder.
St Kilda higher than Port Adelaide.
Yeah. Yes, I would. Well, last power ranking I had St Kilda at 15. I had Port and Essendon above
Can you
them.
give me a date on that? Was that pre-season?
That was 4 days ago.
Oh, 4 days ago.
Yeah,
okay.
this is
So Carlton are
recent.
in the bottom 4 there, I see.
Yes, yeah. And Carlton started the year at 14 for me. I had them really low the whole time. But yeah, then I had Hawthorn number 1, the Giants 2, Adelaide 3, and Brisbane 4. Based off of last week.
Got ya.
Yeah. I would say, and I had Geelong, Sydney, Collingwood, and Gold Coast. I had North at 9 based off of this year.
That's incredible.
I
think that's generous. That
Okay,
is generous for the Kangas.
Would you put Melbourne above them based off this year?
Melbourne, no.
Would you put the Dogs?
Yes.
Probably the Dogs.
Yes, Dogs, yes.
Would you put Fremantle above them this year?
Yes.
I would still have Freo as a side that I have higher expectation of for the season, even based on what I've seen.
But North have played better footy this year.
I don't know. I mean, North looked I had North 10th in my actual ladder prediction.
Did you really? Yeah. Okay. So I had them 3rd bottom. I had them above Richmond and West Coast. But if there's one thing that for St Kilda fans to get hot and sweaty about, I think it's like their high end talent overall. If you're like putting anything, and the reason that you've won these games and been able to win these games, it's off the back of like Mitch Owens. It's I know McRae's been obviously big to what you're doing. He's obviously not one of those exciting young kind of players, but they do have a lot. Like Nasiah Wanganeen-Miller is one of the best and most exciting players in the competition. Like whether he can kind of work his way into the midfield and impact from there. I think they've got
Sinclair, Marshall, Wilkie.
Yeah, like they're absolute guns of the competition. Those guys, like they're high end talent. And then like what they've done in the draft, like Travalia, you got to see what he can do today. Yeah. He could be Will Day in 5 years, like a similar type player going into the midfield. Alex Tyree hasn't even played a game yet. They've nailed their drafting now over 5, 6, 7 seasons since probably 2020. They've got it absolutely right with not the best picks because they probably achieved more in those seasons than what they actually like had on the park at the time. So
and then you got like the Hasties and the Max Halls who are showing a lot so far. I mean, Hasty was the sub, and I think he got dropped, but he's definitely good enough. Like
Kilda was a player I watched a lot in his draft year.
Yeah,
he can play.
Yeah,
he's
for sure.
very good.
For sure.
Even Naz came through that same SA crop.
He had a massive cramp fest against the Cats, but he was pretty good. Yeah,
in that preseason game, he looked really good as well. I was at the preseason game against Port Adelaide, and Keeler looked really good with the contested marking and all that. So he's going to be a player. Like, there's a lot of those guys on St Kilda. Like, and they did stack up well against a mature team like Geelong, and they stacked up fine. So it wasn't like they got bodied by.
Yeah. Like there's I think there's a part of that victory that was like a little bit of an ambush. Like the Cats like turn up to Melbourne. They probably think, we're playing a bottom 5, 6 team.
Yeah.
And they sort of jump them.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. Yeah, exactly. Geelong roll into Marvel. Like they're like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Who's St Kilda got next week?
They have Port Adelaide in Adelaide, so that's a big game.
Well, the last time they played in Adelaide, they weren't very good, were they?
Yeah, well, at least they've got that experience.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That is a big one. If they can beat Port Adelaide, like Port Adelaide's not that good, but in Adelaide, they're still like I think no matter who you are and no matter how bad Port is, you're still scared to play him. In
100%.
Adelaide.
That's a tough fixture.
Yeah,
For sure. And I say this every week, the midfield of Port Adelaide scares me in the sense that if I'm playing against them, McRae and Jack Steele up against Horn Francis, Rosie, I don't know if Butters is back then.
Wines, Drew.
Yeah, not names I'd be bragging
The
about
big
for
bodies,
Port.
though.
The big
Christian
body.
Moraes.
Yeah,
Wow, he was unbelievable
Rizzo,
on the
yeah.
wing. He's a mass. Port Adelaide. Okay, we can't get too far into the Port Adelaide realm here, but their draft in 2024 was incredible. Incredible. Jack Whitlock, he slid. They got him as a key position forward. A lot of people had him picked top 20. Moraes was top 10 at one point.
Yeah.
Slid and Joe Berry, the little gun small forward. So they absolutely nailed it. But yeah, they've probably got I think their team's very shallow as far as quality across the entire field and other teams. So Saints to be have to consider themselves a chance, but I think the midfield gets pumped by a team like Port.
Time will tell. Shall we wrap it?
Let's put a bow on this one, I reckon.
Hands together for Footy with Alex. First
Smashed
time
it,
on the
mate.
stream.
Thank you for having me.
Would be great to have you back on whenever you're free, mate. You've been a star.
Thanks for actually calling me on some shit too. Tuesday always just lets me go.
That's smart. That sounds smart.
Yeah.
But no, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. Thank you for the message asking to come on. Yeah, it's been really cool.
Loved it, mate.
First of many collabs, I hope. Thank you guys for all tuning in at home. Plenty of viewers tonight, plenty of people getting involved in the comments. So yeah, thank you guys very much. We will be back next week. Not sure what time we're going to stream. It might be the Sunday Arvo. It might be the Freo Dogs
Yeah, next
game.
week's a bit of a curveball. So we'll put some stuff on socials and keep everybody in the loop about that. And then we'll probably be back to Friday, Thursday,
Regular
Friday,
programming
Saturday.
after that. Hopefully a few streams that gather around. And we're working on a very exciting sort of mini doco at the moment as well, which has been fun. So thank you guys all for watching and stay tuned to the channel. We'll see you soon. Yeehaw! Beautiful work, Alex. Well done.
Yeah, it was
Good work, mate.